We only wish to speak. Please come forth.
Oh, that's no problem. As long as you don't hurt my little relic, I will go around and swoop him in my arms and pet him. Don't hurt my little relic, please.
Oh, your little relic. At one point, thought you said brother, and I was thinking that is one of the strangest familial relationships I've ever seen.
No. I said he was my
little friend. Yeah. Okay.
Little friend. Yeah.
Beautiful. Good afternoon. Welcome along to our one-shot. Today we will be playing Rise of the Golems. I would like to introduce our players. First of all, we have Kira. Kira, can you tell us what character you are playing?
Hello, my name is Torgen Shutterbreath, the disinherited child of the Shutterbreath spirit medium's family. And well, spirits are for a bit more than just telling stories. They can also help you rob and steal.
Nice. And your class?
I am a bard slash fighter, rune knight, and bard of College of Spirits.
Oh my. Yes, this is the character that I have no idea how it's going to play, so I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Secondly, we have Krogan. Krogan, can you introduce your character, please?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Krogan. For hire, I will be playing Oscar, the drunken master monk dwarf. He's a gladiator, so he spends his time fighting in the pits. He's climbed up through the ranks, earned himself some good gold, some good items, and one day his friends called on him, and he's here to answer the call.
Fantastic. Slicer, would you introduce your character, please?
Hi. My character's name is Relic. He's more a Warlock Kenku that acts like he's a voodoo doctor, and he always likes to bring up spirits and try to call on people, but he really just calls on his familiar to help him out with doing shady deals.
Fantastic. And finally we have Zizi. Zizi, would you introduce your character, please?
My name is Zizi. I'm playing Zed Seneki. He is a taiko drummer. He is a bard, a wood elf by nature. He is a very happy adventurer. He doesn't fight in particular. His main way of fighting is crowd control. And he's a good charmer.
Sounds good to me. So, there you all were, sitting in your local tavern, having a nice drink. And one of you received a psychic message. Suddenly, as you were sitting there, Zed, you were sitting there nice and peaceful when a telepathic intrusion came upon your brain, and you heard, "Hey, it's Tineric! It's Tineric! I've done something awful! I've done something awful! You need to come down the road! You need to come down the road and take the second right! Come down our main high street, take the second right. I've created something and it's taking over. And then he cuts out and you hear a sort of bloody sound and he's dead. All you know is he said, head down the main high street and take a second right, because he's done something awful. And
that drink hit hard.
That is where we start off. So to give you some imagery of where you are, you're in the One Rose Tavern in the town of Beldic, in a complex archipelago of various islands. Tineric is a gnome who you would be aware of, but wouldn't be great friends with. It's a bit strange that he's decided to contact you. Maybe he tried everybody else, but they were currently engaged. So that's who he got through to. And he's known for mixing magic and technology in unhealthy manners. As you were receiving this telepathic intrusion, Torgen, you were hit in the face by a flying item from a tavern member who's lobbed something across the room. It appears to be a lantern. However, when you attempt to activate it, it screams out, "Hey, you guys!" over and over again. Welcome to your cursed lantern of revealing. You may thank Twitch chat.
I believe someone has lost this. No?
Unfortunately, it's yours now.
Well, I guess I add that to the collection.
Brilliant. So yeah, it's all you guys know. Just to confirm, you would all know each other. You are all, friends sitting at the same table, having adventured before, just to make life easier. So, yeah. As you're sitting at the table and receive this mental intrusion, Zizi, yeah.
Well, I guess we have received such types of messages before. So I'll just go ahead and say to the party what you said.
Yep. So that is that you need to go down the high street and take the second right and head onwards because they've done something awful.
You've got a telepathic message, and here I thought it was just a drink. Huh.
Don't worry, believe me, these types of calls are really common. You have seen that before, haven't you?
Well, I can't say that.
Telepathic message drinks are common.
Are you sure it's not spirits? It could be.
It sounded like a distraught woman to me.
It could be spirits. I mean, if you're not sure, I can always do a reading for you, for 50 gold. That's usually my going rate.
Just checking my pockets, seeing just silver. Just 5 gold.
Well then I guess possession is in your future.
Oh, shit.
Shame.
I knew their contraptions would get them in trouble eventually. It's just a matter of time.
You gotta live, you gotta learn. I got possessed by spirits. I can't do anything about it.
Perhaps
I better hope they pay loan though.
we should maybe check on them in case they already have the spirits.
He is a bit of an inventor. He may have something valuable. Be worth it. Well,
Yes.
in the message, did he sound distressed? He sounded distressed, correct?
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
Was he cut off abruptly?
Yes, he was. Really, like dribblings coming after the end of a message. Cracks.
I believe I'm getting a reading. A spirit is telling me we should go.
All right. You're the boss.
Am I? Oh, I'm no boss, please.
Oh. You're the leader. You're going first.
Oh, I go first.
Yes, I just don't want to die. That's it.
Sure. After my
lead us to the spirits, I will make sure to reassure they rest peacefully.
yeah, rest peacefully and all that. Yeah, sure.
I get up from my stool. I look at my comrades, and I say, "You guys, pay our tab." And I start walking away towards the door.
It's safe to say that you paid for your drinks before we began at the bar, in advance, so fear not, you do not need to find the gold in your pockets. However, as you exit the door, you see the general hustle and bustle of the town around you. Little wagons coming past with cabbages on it. There's various sort of noise and busyness around you. And, you're all outside the door.
Oh,
The message said to head, turn west at the road.
You take a right.
Take a
and the
right,
second
okay.
right.
Yep. We should head there. Just go calmly. We don't need to go hastily.
this is reminding me of a story. Have I ever told you about the time I stayed with giants?
Stay.
No, I hear about it.
Well, staying with giants, they're actually pretty good bedfellows. Don't ask me. But they can be a bit, how do you say, encumbering. And I don't know if you want me to speak out of this, but I'm using bardic tales told through me.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to roll on the table, and then I will have a tale I can tell somebody, and it buffs them.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So yeah, that's a sort of out of character. I am using X, and let me know who you're buffing, or let them know who you're buffing.
For this one, I can use it as an action whenever I want to. So I'm gonna hold on to it for now.
Oh, okay, right, cool. That makes sense. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, so as you begin to head down the street, you can hear sort of the clicking and clacking of general wagons and townsfolk selling stuff. It's a busy street, but as you head down the road a little bit further, it begins to empty out a little bit. It gets a bit quieter. You're moving down to the shadier end of town.
Are you sure this is the right direction? I normally don't see them these parts. Is it here?
You know, in my travels, I'm a pretty good tracker, so let me just get my bearings.
All right, I'll trust you right now.
A strange and shadowy halfling pulls his cloak out away from his face, takes eyes on you, and flicks a dagger across the road at you.
Should we try and dodge?
No, you get no chance to dodge. This is coming out of the dark. Relic, you take 3 piercing damage.
Who threw that?
I trusted you.
Watch it, asshole.
He vanishes off into the shadows really quickly. Damn.
What is going on with people throwing things at us today? What is happening?
Damn those high-tech
It's
jet
just a
hobbits.
flash wound.
So at this point, you're beginning to come to the turning. You've come past the first right. You're now at the second right. You look down and you see a sort of a dusty track. As the road peters out, the last couple of houses, there's a dusty track beyond. And you see a couple of gnomes sprinting towards you.
Can I give them a once-over?
At the moment, they're sort of 40 foot away. So you can sort of see that they're panicking, but that's about as far as it goes.
You there? Are you okay? Do you need readings?
I'm going to, as they're sprinting toward me, toward us, I'm going to move a bit behind my Kenku friend here.
Mm-hmm. As they approach, they scream out, "They're coming! They're coming! Run!" And then they sprint past you, paying no attention to anyone and looking absolutely terrified.
Come, my friends. They're talking about the spirits. I know. We must go.
Well, we must rush to the spirits.
They said they're coming. I do believe. Look at the time. I'd best be on my way.
Why run? This is our chance to prove.
Maybe some spirit treasure is underway.
I'm getting kind of spiriting over that way.
Okay. I'll leave you at that. I'll go see about what they were running from. Perhaps they're more friendly to me.
Yeah. Go do that and come back.
walking ahead.
I'll stand with Relic.
As you begin ahead, the dusty path begins. You see some trees rising up. You're at the beginning of what appears to be a small forest. Maybe a wood would be a better way of putting it. And walking down this wood towards you is a very strange shaped golem where its head is sort of halfway down its body. Its arms are humongous and it's got a large sort of shaped iron back. And this golem is sort of slowly pacing towards you on the road.
This must be what they're talking about. The spirit has haunted the golem. I must wait. Get my friend.
And I want to cast Find Familiar to bring out closets.
Yep.
Raquel. God, yes, there you are. We need to help exorcise this golem. I feel as if it's haunted in some way.
Alright. This is rather troublesome. This is not a normal house renovation.
I'm going to pull out my deck and start flipping through my cards as it's coming forward.
Mm-hmm.
I crack my knuckles, I crack my neck, I limber up, and I get this sort of, you guys see this sort of look like a unfazed bring it on.
Roll initiative, please.
All right, I rolled 18.
Just hold on to your rolls for 2 seconds for me. Because for some reason the encounter is frozen, so I'm just going to reboot it. And I see the problem. That's why it's frozen. It's not pulled forward all of your characters, so let's just go back there, back to here. Good. That's going to make it slightly more balanced. There's all 4 of you there instead of just the one. Sorry, so Torgan, your initiative?
I rolled a 26, natural 20.
Nice. Relic?
I rolled a 4, a natural 1.
Beautiful. This is a sign of things to come. Angus, your initiative, please. Sorry, you've changed your name, haven't you there? Oscar, your initiative, please.
Oh, 12.
And Zed, your initiative, please.
1 second. 18.
Okay. So, as the one golem arrives towards you, you see 2 more golems just behind them coming forward. But these don't appear to be your normal average golems. For some strange reason, there appears to be almost facial expressions on these golems. They are looking at you with sort of intense interest. Unlike your standard flesh golem that would be stitched together, this fleshy beast with iron sort of armor appears curious. Torgan, we come to you first. You see 2 directly in front of you. So for the sake of battle, guys, Oscar, you're number 1, Relic, you're number 2, Zed, you're number 3, Torgan, you're number 4, from what you see on the screen. Yeah, so Torgan, we come to you first. You see 2 enemies directly in front of you. This is about a 15-foot gap, and 1 enemy slightly further to your left, more in front of your compatriots. How would you like to proceed?
Judging by your description, I'm going to pull out my sword and use the bonus action to speak the word to ignited. But first, I'm just gonna wave. We mean you no harm. Just please don't come this way or toward the village, please. And just try to persuade them a little.
At this moment, the golem sort of stands up tall, looks at you and says, "Can you repeat that?"
Maybe he's a bit hard of hearing. Please do not come this way. We mean you no harm.
Make a persuasion check for me, please.
Holy crap, they're talking.
That they are.
This is not normal.
25.
The golem that you were talking directly to, sort of. Perhaps he has a point. He turns around to his friends and to his 2 other compatriots and says, perhaps we shouldn't trouble these people. And he begins to sort of pull one away. The golem at the front, however, appears slightly less intelligent than the others and less capable of speech, and sort of drops its jaw really far and just goes, "Aye!" and then turns towards you and starts to walk towards you as if he's coming into town. At this point, you can see that what you've done is effectively make the first enemy hesitate. This is enemy 1, by the way. But he's still backing his friend up. He's still coming into battle. But he's definitely hesitant. He's a lot less confident in his actions. The second and third golem, however, appear a little unperturbed. And yeah, don't consider that your action. Is the action igniting your blade?
That is a bonus action.
It's a bonus action, so yeah, don't consider the speech your action. Continue onwards.
For my action, I'm going to hold my action to ready a level 2 guiding bolt.
Okay. It's absolutely fine. And are you staying where you are?
Yeah, since he's lumbering toward me a little bit, I'm going to back up just a few, about 15 feet.
Yeah, that's fine. So we're actually going to move everybody else forward. So you guys consider yourselves 15 foot away, and Torgan, consider yourself 30 foot away. And that brings us to Zed.
All right. Since I know this enemy 3 seems to be the closest, I will cast Blindness to enemy 3.
Okay.
Make me a Constitution saving throw. That should be 18.
Yep. Just give me a second. This is blindness, you said, yep.
Yes.
Three. Why is this not? Aha! There we go. Sorry, Constitution saving throw. Well, that's let's just say he's blind. He is absolutely blind as a bat. There is no saving that one. So enemy 3 is now sort of he's lumbering forward with his jaw still dropped, still going and sort of swinging wildly at anything within sort of 7 or 8 foot of its giant arms.
And with my bonus action, I will use Bardic Inspiration on Oscar.
Okay. So
Enter my turn.
Oscar, consider yourself inspired. With which we turn to Oscar.
Oh yeah, I feel it. I feel inspired. So I will. Yeah, I will run towards enemy 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna just. How tall are these golems?
About 9 foot.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna just try and punch him in the knee.
You're gonna punch him in the knee. Vicious.
Yeah.
Roll to hit, please.
It's with advantage due to blindness.
Yeah. It's I wouldn't worry too much about not hitting these. It's 20. It's 9 foot of creature that is blind. But yeah, roll to hit for me.
That's a 16.
And that hits. And your damage?
Only 7 bludgeoning.
Mm-hmm.
And I have extra attack, so I will do it one more time. This time with my head.
Can I just check that as a monk your attacks count as magical, or is this just standard bludgeoning damage?
No, they do.
They do, yeah. I thought so.
Yeah, they're magical.
I must say it somewhere, but I couldn't quite find it. Yep, okay, that's absolutely fine. So that was 7, you said?
Yeah, 7
and
damage.
Then roll to hit on your headbutt.
That's a 26 to hit.
That hits. Is that a crit? Jeez, that is a big hit.
No, it wasn't a crit.
Wow.
That second damage is 9.
Okay, so you swing your fist into his knee, somehow resisting the breaking of your knuckles, knocking his joint ever so slightly forwards, and this blind golem is sort of teetering, and then you headbutt, and you hear a small shattering noise within the flesh, as the metal sort of grinds into his flesh. The golem looks furiously angry and is swinging wildly. Does that conclude your turn, Oscar, or are you bonus actioning? Or is that your bonus action, your attack?
Yeah, I've never played a monk before, so yeah, I'm gonna burn a key point to do a flurry.
Yeah. As he's swinging wildly, you flurry away. If you would roll and tell me if that hits.
So that's a 24.
That is hitting. Yep.
First attack.
Yeah, I think it's all one maneuver, the flurry of blows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I have a 9 for the damage.
It says it's 2 unarmed strikes, right? But his flurry of blows is the damage. Does it appear to be double that of your unarmed strike?
No.
Okay, in that case, give me a second
yeah.
roll. But don't give me a second hit roll. Just give me a second damage roll.
10.
So that was a 9 and a 10, you said?
Yes.
Yep.
And I am, because I'm a drunken master, I'm under the effects of a disengage.
Yep.
And my movement increases. So I'm gonna, like, backflip away drunkenly.
A beautiful backflip backwards as you have flurried away with your fists into his kneecap. This blind golem sort of stumbles down to one knee, and one leg as this knee gives way to your vicious punches, and he sort of reaches forward and he claws what is effectively thin air in front of him because he can't quite reach you. And then what you see is him sort of crawling across the floor in a direct forwards line and just swinging wildly. He swings out at Oscar. Oscar, what's your AC, please? It's 19, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so he swings wildly at you, but misses both times with both swings. And he continues to lumber onwards with his blind swinging, placing him slightly behind you. And that brings us to Relic.
Oh, 1 second. I'm sorry. I was holding my action, so since he attacked, my guiding bolt actually activates.
Yep. That it does. Yeah, give us some damage.
Yeah, since he attacked Oscar. Oh, I rolled a natural 1. That's a 10.
Is that your hit roll?
Yes.
Does a spell hit gain advantage from a blinded enemy? I would assume not. So it is fair to say that do you know what? A 10 hits. I've just noticed. A 10 hits. So give me a damage roll.
Thank the gods.
I really wasn't expecting it to have a lower armor class than that.
It's 15 damage, and the next attacks until my end of my next turn all have advantage.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So that now brings us to Relic.
I'm gonna run up to him real quick and just kind of like cast inflict wounds on his leg.
Just his leg?
Yes, his leg specifically.
That's lovely. The leg that is already injured, and so and the iron on which is crumpled. Is that yes?
Mm-hmm.
Lovely. Roll to hit, please. That is a roll to hit, isn't it? Inflict wounds.
That I do the thing. I did not.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah.
So your hit roll.
And here we go.
That hits. That hits. For 10 hits, it's safe to say that that's gonna hit. And the damage, please.
It should appear just now.
Yeah, mine's very unreliable. We'll find out. Did we get a damage roll on that, or did that not come through?
I did the damage roll. I don't know if you see it.
Do you see it?
Yes.
Damages?
It's 23.
23, beautiful. Yeah, you can just tell me. Don't worry, I don't really pay much attention to the D&D Beyond stuff. It's just to keep track for the damage. Yep. So what you've now got is a golem hopping forwards, blindly swinging around. Its one leg is crumpled into itself. So you've got some of the armor is hanging down below the leg, but the flesh is no longer visible on that leg. It has retracted entirely into its body. It is severely injured. It's blind and it's confused. It's still walking around with its jaw open, going "Arr, arr," and that is about all it's said so far. Does that conclude your turn, Relic, or do you have a bonus action in mind?
I was gonna use my bonus action to tell my Quasit to attack the golem.
So to tell your
Quasit to attack the golem.
Okay.
Like familiar.
Yep. And the damage on that? Assume your familiar always goes immediately after you.
Yes. It's a +4 to hits and deals.
This will hit no matter what. You've got a golem that is one-legged, lying on the floor that is blind. So yeah, just give me a damage roll if you don't mind.
I think I might need to get actual dice.
Yep.
So I don't have it on D&D Beyond for some reason.
That's fine. I mean, you can do custom rolls on D&D Beyond. Down the bottom left, there's like a hexagon thing. And there's a 4, a 6, an 8, a 100, a 10, a 12, and a 20. Should you need them. Yep, so on your character sheet down the bottom left, you'll see like a red diamond-y sign. You click
I
that,
see that.
there's your, there are your custom dice. Otherwise, I'd be screwed because I don't have a character sheet to roll with. So is that a 3, yeah?
Yeah, plus, what's it? It's 6 damage.
6 damage. At this point,
And-
the golem is sort of attempting to retreat in a ball on the floor, sort of shuffling back on the ground.
Oh, is he resistant to poison damage?
Yes.
He is? Okay.
Yeah. He's not resistant, he is immune.
He's immune. Oh, even worse.
Flesh golems are.
That's it then for me.
Yep, okay. So at this point, the two slightly more wise golems have seen what you've done to their friend, who was a bit more stupid, and have decided they have no interest whatsoever in this fight. And they turn to you and they say, "We will trouble your village no longer," and they turn away and begin to walk off into the distance. Which brings us to Torgan. You have a nearly dead golem at your feet.
Yes. I can let my friends handle that. That's a light work. The other two walking away, can I yell to them and ask them what has happened? Why did you come this way?
You could try, but they're pretty insistent on getting as far away from you as possible. You would be able to follow their movements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can, I would like to try to sneakily track them.
Okay. I mean, they are sort of 30 foot away from you and looking the other way, but yeah, give us a stealth check.
That's a 26.
Yeah, that's fine. I was thinking sort of a DC 6 or 7. Like, that'll do. So yeah, you are able to stealthily track their movements. That brings us, while you're following them and pursuing, that brings us to Zed. Zed, you have a nearly dead golem at your feet.
Right. I'll speak to the party. If you guys are not trying to interrogate this golem, I'll do something pretty interesting to end it. Can the other players give a response to my character?
Yep.
Oh,
With
sorry.
speech?
Sorry, so
I
that,
wish only make sure it's so rest properly.
Oh, I'll give it a good rest. I'll cast Vicious Mockery. All right. I'll say, if you were a bard, Mr. Golem, you'll be a very stinky poo-poo bard. You'd go at the very stinky poo-poo bard college.
Nice.
That would be 6 psyche damage if you don't succeed the save. It's a wisdom save.
yeah, it's not as attempting a wisdom save. It is fair to say that its brain has imploded at your nasty words, and it is dead on the floor.
Yes! No! That's not what I meant by saying peace!
Now you rush over to the golem.
As you attempt to rest its soul to be in peace, you begin to realize that there is no soul within this golem. It is merely a mechanical creation of somewhat surprising intelligence. Consider yourselves out of combat. And then just ahead of us, we have Torgan is tracking 2 flesh golems. As you are tracking these 2 golems down the road, Torgan, you begin to see what appears to be a burnt out... you would see sort of one large wall at the back, and then in front of that you would see sort of smouldering embers of different walls, and machines appear to be sort of on the open ground now, and you could see that the building was within the ground, so it was underground as well. It appears to be somewhat still intact in terms of what was underground, but the building at the top, it looks like it's been burst open from underneath, like an explosion has taken place. And as you look over at this building, you see two golems standing in front of it, of the more sort of one is of the more brass variety, sort of a golden color, looking quite proud and standing guard. The other one is currently playing with some electric on its fist, that is swirling around, and it's contemplating its hand and looking quite pleased with itself. The rest of the party, you would be able to see Torgon. He is, say, 20 foot, 30 foot in front of you. Provided you have acknowledged that he went into stealth, you've managed to just about keep track of his movements as he headed down the road, and will be able to pursue.
Be careful, lad.
Morgan, they don't have souls.
Oh,
Is this the problem?
okay. Just calm down. Just to be sure, these aren't the two that I saw tracking, right? These are two.
No, these are two new golems who were guarding.
Okay.
Your golems would be now, the golems you're tracking would be sort of 30 or 40 foot away from them. But they are definitely headed that way. These golems you see in the distance are much taller, say 14 foot in height.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Those two over there seem to be a bit more well equipped. We should definitely be careful. I would like to try and stealth a little closer, just in case.
Yep.
Keep my ears out.
I think it's fair to say with the 26 stealth, you would be able to get within 30 foot of range of them without being noticed. So if you were to pursue slowly, as the golems were to get, your flesh golems were to get closer to these two large golems, I would say you'd be able to get at least, 30 foot in range, without being even vaguely detected. As for the rest of the party, are you going to continue to pursue closer, or holding back until Torgon gives a call?
I am cautiously walking towards Torgon.
Okay.
Is there a way around the building? Maybe I can get in another way.
Yep. So as you look at the building, we're calling it a building. It's a wall, right? It is a back wall, and then there's a sort of down below. You can see from your distance that there is something below, but you wouldn't be able to see what. As you get closer, you may be able to investigate if there were other ways down into the sort of pits, if you like, of this building. But yeah, right now all you can see is the back wall and a sort of fiery downward pit. But yeah, you'd be able to get close enough to investigate.
Yes, I would like to do that. I'd like to just take a quick look around, try and be stealthy, and see if there's another way down. Those two golems look pretty scary, and I don't want to engage in that.
Yep, so as you sort of get sort of 20, 30 foot in range, you can now peer down at what appears to be a large workshop, almost a factory. There are various machines of human size and larger that appear to be still in use, still working, still operating. There are both magical sparks and sort of technological grindings and mechanics going on within these machines. You can see two very, very small golems. We're talking 2 or 3 foot in height, that appear to be sort of interacting with the machines and running the machines. As you stare more closely, you begin to see other little golems maneuvering about in the machines. And if you would make a perception check for me, please.
That is a 19.
19. As you watch these small golems at work and you peer closer, you begin to realize that they resemble gnomes in the way they look. It's almost like they've been sculpted in bad mockery of a gnome. You see the traditional long snout, the ears, etc. But they are definitely mechanical creatures.
I'm going at the side of this. I'm going to message Zed. I believe the toys are running the toy shop. There is a way down here. However, I would express stealth. And those two golems in the front don't look fun to tangle.
Can we get one as a pet when we turn back, please?
Sorry, can you repeat that for me? Is
I
that
really wish to have a pet golem gnome when we are done with this quest.
brilliant?
There are smaller gnome.
Well, that's what we consider afterwards. However, we received that message. We do have a duty to check down there.
All right. Sure thing.
So, as the party is now 30 foot away from the building, it is fair to say that Torgon has progressed a little closer to be able to have a good look, but he is well hidden in the shadows. If you want to approach any closer than 30 foot, I would begin to consider hiding or stealthing silently. So I'll come to you in order if that's all right. Oscar, what would you like to do as you approach the 30-foot mark?
Yeah, I guess I'll approach it stealthily.
Okay, if you would like to make a stealth check for me. And that brings us to Zed. What would you like to do?
I would like to roll a perception check regarding sounds. Is there something that stands out from the mechanical work?
From the distance you're at, you currently cannot see into the pits. You would need to get closer, like Torgon did, to be able to see over the rim. So at the moment, all you can see is the wall and the two golems in front of you. To get closer, you would have to sneak up to Torgon's position.
There's nothing else to do then.
Yep, so are you going to hang back, or would you like to stealth up to Torgon?
I'll stealth up to Torgon.
Okay, also make a stealth check for me, please. And that brings us to Relic. Relic, are you staying back, or would you like to see if you can join your compatriots at shorter range?
My stealth was 28.
Hold on with your roll for a second for me. Sorry, Relic, go on.
I'm going to try and walk nearby them, but I'm going to try and stay about 15 feet to the left.
Okay, so you're going to move around to the left a little bit. Again, if you'd make a stealth check for me. So coming back to Oscar, your stealth check?
I rolled an 18.
19? Yeah, it's fair to say that you're able to creep up to where Torgon is, but Torgon would most definitely be able to hear you slightly, the rustle in the brushes, the movement towards him. As you stealth ahead, you get to where Torgon's position is, and you can now see down into the workshop. And that brings us to Zed. Your stealth check was?
28.
Yep, you most definitely are able to sneak up almost to the point that Torgon hasn't noticed you yet as you come alongside him, and you can also see down into the pit. You said you wanted to have a good look at what's going on. Is that correct?
Yeah.
If both yourself,
particularly in listening, like if there's any sound that's distinct.
At this point, you're still sort of 25 foot away from the workings. It's fair to say that all of you would be able to hear a sort of the grinding, the clicking of machines at work, perhaps some more mystical, magical noises at play. There's definitely a combination of magic and technology at work, and a little bit of conversation going on in very, very deep tones between the two golems you saw at the front. They are talking to each other, and you wouldn't be able to make out any words, but you'd be able to detect that they are speaking to each other. And then that brings us to Relic. You moved slightly to the left. Your stealth check?
Yes, my stealth check's 27 and my quad's at landed at 20.
What is with you people's stealth? That's mystical powers. As you slide effortlessly 15 foot to the left of your compatriots, you now also can see down into the pit. You can see the little gnome-like creatures that are mechanized, sort of working around at the machines. You can see these two large golems standing guard at the very front. And as you're watching this, one of you chances to look up slightly, and hovering just above the pits are two what appears to be floating armors. They are pieces of metal that are in the shape of a body, but one is clutching a staff, and the other one is sort of currently playing with a cloak, trying to wrap it around its metal body. And coming from these two animated metal creatures are sort of sparks and imagine the spell dancing lights around one of them. Sort of little lights and glowing magic appears to be going on around these two.
Can we speak to these armors without making any attention to the other golems?
No, they are floating above the pits behind these two large golems in front of you.
So we could interact with them.
You could. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, to get their attention, you would have to either make a fairly loud noise or attempt to sort of walk all the way round to where there would be the large wall behind. You could try and come at them from the side and sort of get their attention, but if you imagine this is sort of 160 foot in width and only sort of 40 foot in depth, so it would be a long, long way to make a shout to the center of said building.
All right, I'll keep it as a note for later.
Yep.
I do want to have my quasar turn to centipede.
Yep, that's absolutely fine. A centipede. What sort of size is this? Are we talking sort of 3 and 4 inches in length or 3 or 4 meters in length?
I'm pretty sure the normal centipede would be 3 or 4 inches.
It isn't some sort of like a mystical creature centipede that's gonna sort of... No, okay, right. It's just a centipede, yep. And where is it going?
I would tell Brokai,
Go inside. See what they're doing. I'll be here with you.
In terms of your Inquisitor, you can speak telepathically as well, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So you can see through their eyes, etc.
Yeah.
Yep. Do centipedes have eyes? I'm not blind, are they?
So based on what I know, centipedes use their hairs as ears.
Yeah, that's what they lack eyes. However, they can discern is light and darkness and have no true vision. But they would, a creature of the intelligence of your companion would at least be able to relay you what it perceives.
Yes.
So yeah, it's fair to say that off it goes. Bear in mind your 4-inch centipede is about to make a journey of about 45 foot. So give it 20 minutes. And in the meantime, I will come back to Torgon, who is at the front of your group and is currently peering down at these enemies.
No, I have a bit of a question.
Yeah.
The lantern that was struck me in the face earlier. Does it activate? Does it activate on hits, or does it have to say the word?
It's literally appears to be a lantern of revealing. But as soon as you remove the hood from the lantern, it yells out, "Hey, you guys!" The Twitch items are not meant to be useful. I'll just give you a heads up. It really doesn't do anything apart from that.
That's fine. I would like to actually try again. I like to stealth maybe about 13 feet away from my party. I would like to, if I can, try to put it in the bush and then remove the hood and run away.
Oh, I like that. So, if you make another stealth check for me briefly. This is, yeah.
That is a 23.
Yep. So as you scurry through the bushes and you place your lantern down, the first "Hey, you guys!" comes out quite quietly, enough to slightly surprise you despite the fact you're expecting it, but not enough to get anyone's attention. As you scurry away, the call gets louder and louder. "Hey, you guys!" The bronze golem sort of looks up and looks around to his compatriot, and he holds his hand up, and 2 smaller golems of the more sort of they look like they were sculpted from clay, sort of rise up and begin to what appears to be impersonate a stealthy human. They sort of crouch down and start to skulk forwards into the bushes, dispersing out, basically looking for the source of this noise. It is clear, however, that these clay golems are not as perceptive in terms of hearing, So what they're effectively doing is doing a wide sweep of the area in front. They can't quite pinpoint the sound. Perhaps it is even that they can't hear the sound, but they are looking for something.
At this point, I would like to cast Message to Zed and ask about those two floating golems with the sparks.
You
Are they
can cast message to him, but he's standing next to you.
Oh, I can't. Oh, I got back. Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the only person who's not currently with the three of you, so that would be Zed, Torgen, and Oscar. You are sort of grouped together, hiding down on this ledge, looking downwards, and Relic is 15 foot to your left, waiting very patiently for his centipede to proceed across the ground.
So then, did those sparking golems leave yet? That's floating above the hole, or
No, they appear to be incredibly distracted. They are looking down directly at the workings on. Yeah.
Mind them not. They're just fidgeting with their little toys. We can move past them.
So you believe we can just sneak past them? Okay.
Yes.
I'll follow your lead. Go first.
All right. You got it.
You're going to attempt to sneak past the two larger guys, or the... Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try to sneak past the two armors.
The two armors are floating behind the two golems in front of you. Are you going to attempt a side route or just directly through past these two large golems? Okay, lovely. I love that. Just bear with me a second as we investigate. I'm just looking for a passive perception.
My best perception is 20.
No, I'm on the golems, but perception does not seem to be their strong point, as it doesn't have a perception for me, so I'm just going to roll a dice. Sorry, your stealth check, please, Zed?
Sure. Let's go, stealth again. Where's my stealth check? There we go, would that be a 28?
Ooh! That's fantastic. I was expecting you to be seen there as I rolled my d20 and hit double 20s, but you are not seen. You are able to stealth, sort of not. If you imagine they are sort of 15 to 20 foot apart, and they, as you get sort of within 5 foot of range between the bushes part suddenly, and there is open ground. It is fair to say you would need to be invisible to get any closer than you are now, but you are 5 foot away, and what you can see is that to your right and left are various machines at ground height that appear to not be part of the workings on in the factory, but instead be more your casual magic workshop. Perhaps these walls, when they were over these buildings, this is what you would have seen in the above ground buildings, with these sort of standard workshop contraptions, and they are to the right and left of these two large golems. The area in the middle appears to have been swept clean other than some scraps of metal. So you consider yourself now 5 foot away from these two large golems. Well, sort of 5 foot away from the one on the right, let's say, and 20 foot away from the one on the left. But there is open ground between you and them at this point. To stealth between them would be a little unrealistic.
Yeah, I'll hold my ground for now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at that. He actually did it. I'm going to take the less obtrusive route and try to go around the side a bit and sneak in from the side like.
Yep. So, Torgen, if you would like to, if as you head to the left, are you going to come to where Relic is, or are you going to go in front of where Relic is currently sitting?
I do believe I'll go ahead of Relic.
Okay. If you would like to make a stealth check for me, please.
That is a 22.
Yep. As you sort of head ahead of Relic and towards the left-hand side of these golems, the two clay golems that are sweeping about. You have one who is now, you've now left far to your right. The other one is sort of approaching the bush where your lantern is yelling, and sort of looking around very intently. It is fair to say you'd have to go further left now, or you would run headlong into said golem. Would you like to do so and head further left?
Yes, I would.
Yep, okay. And Oscar, we left you crouched at the lip of the sort of rise, looking down towards the trees. Your friend Zed has sneakily got himself down towards the front lines, and Torgan has departed to the left. Where would you like to head?
I'm gonna follow Torgan.
Okay, if you'd like to make a stealth check for me, please. As you subtly maneuver down through the trees, these golems have sort of kindly, one right, one left of you, allowed you to sneak down to Torgar's position. Your stealth check was, sorry?
A 22.
Yep, it's fair to say that you are also able to wriggle down on your belly, and the two of you are now 5 foot away and looking at the open, clear land. At this point, sorry, name's gone. Relic. At this point, Relic, a small halfling has crept up on your position from behind you. He has placed something in your pocket and scurried off in another direction, and as you turn round, you can no longer see him.
I go reach in my pocket, see what he put in there.
You find a strange scroll as you look at it more closely. You've seen these before. This is a teleportation scroll. It allows you to teleport to a place you have previously been to in one direction, or there and back again should you return within the hour. You may thank our lovely Twitch chat for pointing you at a teleportation scroll. Unfortunately, you cannot teleport to somewhere you have not been. Otherwise, you could pop yourself into the center of the most interesting danger. At this point, your centipede has passed the clay golem that you have seen investigating this lantern, and suddenly you hear, "Hey, you got..." And the lantern has been crunched down upon by the clay golem. He now is looking around, very confused, trying to discern who has placed this. He calls out to his compatriot in a large, bellowing voice, in words that you've never heard before. This is a language that you wouldn't... not only have you never heard it before in terms of recognition, but it is so foreign and different to any form of humanoid voice you have ever heard. It's almost a mixture of clicking and mechanical noises and deep rumbling sounds. It is so foreign to your ears, you have no idea what is being said, but his companion starts to head back towards the original two golems, standing guard.
Get on that one. Get on.
You would be able to get on the golem that is investigating the lantern, however, the other one is moving back to the golems from 20 foot away, which is quite a jump for your 4-inch centipede. So I think it's fair to say he's sneaking up onto the one that is investigating the lantern.
Yeah.
And he crawls onto the back of his heel. Were you to look through his eyes right now or through his experiences, you would be very, very motion sick as you are being swung backwards and forwards by the large clay leg as it begins to walk towards where Oscar and Zed and Torgan previously were, 15 foot to your right. It begins to head towards that direction and start to look around. It's pulling back bushes. It's fair to say that if you don't make your move soon, Clay Golem is going to discover you. Where would you like to move to, Relic?
I'm going to try and move about 20 feet more to the left.
Yep. Are you advancing forward at all? 20 feet more to the left would be roughly where Torgan is, but you would be further back.
Okay.
He's sort of diagonally
try
20 foot in front of you. To the left.
I'll go there and then try to move a bit forward diagonally away from him.
Okay. If you will make a stealth check for me, please.
Yep. Boom.
When you turned up with no rogues and a bunch of bards and monks, I wasn't expecting 23s to 30s to be the only rolls I saw. As you...
I swear, we're professionals.
As you slither through the grass, impersonating your centipede in a most stealthy fashion, 20 foot diagonally to your left, you sort of see Torgan, scurrying further out to your left, and the two of you are now coming wide left of the large brass golem. It is now 20 foot to your right, and you would almost be able to approach the very lip where you could get downwards. At this point, we come to Zed and Oscar, who are observing the right-hand golem, the darker bronze golem, who is investigating the lightning on his fist, who has now begun punching the ground repetitively and watching the effects of the lightning on his fist sort of making lovely little patternless bloom. And he's muttering to himself in this strange, clicky, mechanized, rumbling language that is so foreign to your ears. Even this foreign, though, it appears that he's somewhat cheerful. He seems quite happy with the effects of his punching the ground.
Does he seem like he's just messing around with it, or is it
he's definitely playing. It is clear that he is playing and somewhat having fun, not angrily pounding the ground in trying to make a flat area or anything, or testing anything. He's just having some fun.
Oh boy, I see big marketable pet. I see big pet this time. Screw the gnome. I get this one.
You are currently with Oscar, I believe. Oscar, you are also observing this.
I'm more inclined to believe that if he's just having fun, then maybe we should like avoid it and try and walk around him.
So to remind you, you are to the right of your compatriots, to the right of the brass golem, and even slightly to the right of the bronze golem. It is sort of 5 foot ahead of you and maybe a foot to your left. So that's where the two of you are. Would either of you like to move, or are you going to continue to observe from where you are?
If he's to the right, then I'm gonna move to the left.
Okay, how far to your left?
Let's say 20.
Okay. Give me a stealth check, please.
Yep.
While he's doing that, the other golem, is he just stoic? Or
Very much so. Very much so. The brass golem has barely moved. He looks very proud. He has his arms sort of folded in front of his chest, like so, and is just staring straight outwards. He's most definitely keeping track of the two clay golems, one of which has scurried out to look for something, and the other which is advancing towards him. They're very much... one is playing around with lightning on the floor, the other one is stoically standing guard. Far more attentive. Sorry, your stealth check, Oscar?
It was a 19.
As you head 3 or 4 foot to your left, you see the clay golem, who was returning to its master, sort of is going to intersect with your path. Is it fair to say you're hesitating and waiting for him to pass and then continuing?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So as the clay golem walks past, it begins to interact in a frantic tone, but still this rumbling, bellowing, clicking, noising dialect that you've never heard before with its brass compatriot. You are now able to stealth round to the left, and you would be advancing on Relic's position at this point. However, you are further forward.
Awesome.
Okay, at this point, Zed, it is fair to say that this clay golem has passed within bare feet of you, and then headed onwards to the brass golem to your left. So they're now 20 foot to your left. You've got this bronze golem punching the ground and playing in front of you. Are you holding position?
A hold position.
You are holding position. That brings us back to Torgen. Torgen, you are now sort of far enough left that you are further left than you were previously in front. So you are able to approach the very lip of this, where it's like the grass stops suddenly and there's a descent drop, and down there is all sorts of mechanic goings on.
I guess if I can, and I can still see, I still have track of my compatriots, correct? Of almost all of them, right?
Yeah, I mean, you would know where Zed is on the basis that he hasn't moved. However, you can't make him out. He's now, 60 foot to your right and hiding in some bushes, lying still. The other two who have moved towards you, you would most definitely know exactly where they are.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to go into the lip. I'm going to try and get down.
Okay.
Get down.
As you peer over the lip, would you make a perception check for me, please?
That is a 31.
Bloody Jesus. All right. You can read the writing on the walls 400 foot away, you know what I mean? So as you look down, you realize that there is only a 5-foot drop before the building effectively is underneath where you're currently lying. It has extended under the lip that you are at, and you realize that there is a lot more of this building underneath you. This appears to your eyes to be a very recent excavation. Perhaps, mere hours ago. These machines are sort of being pushed under this lip that you are at. You can see the little tiny goblins wheeling strange contraptions around. It appears that they are expanding to the area that you are underneath. And as you peer over, you can see one humongous stone golem who is scraping out parts of the wall and digging and sort of excavating more area to your far, far right. And as you look down between two machines, you begin to see a gap, and there is a more sunken area at the back. And in that view, as you look down, you see one humongous golem made of iron and magic with strange inscriptions on him. The deepest fire behind him. He's swirling with yellow and golden magics, and he's sat on what appears to be a throne of the deepest red. And it is clear that when you had seen those two floating armors above, that they were communicating with this very golem. He is now looking up at them and sort of making gestures, and their magics are swirling in accordance with his golden swirling magic.
I'm going to cast message. Guys, I don't want to play adventure anymore. I guess it's best of us to leave. We've done our best. We just won't know. No, God, we're already here, I guess.
You got that right.
Did your message also go to Zed, who is closer to just to the two closest to you?
I'm sending it to actually. I should have declared it. I'm so sorry. I was too excited. I'm going to send it to Oscar because I believe he's the closest to me currently.
He is
right?
indeed. Yes, he is.
Yeah, I'll send it to Oscar and just pretty much telling him what I saw.
Yep.
As well.
Oscar, you are 20 foot away from Torgun, and you hear this message come to you, saying, "Oh my God, we should run. Never mind, we're already here." How would you respond, Oscar? Let's. Oh, there we go. Oscar, welcome back.
Yeah. Sorry, I was trying to think of what to say.
Well, this is more when I say how would you respond, I don't necessarily mean what would you say. I mean how would you respond. He's sent you a message via message. The spell. I don't think it is within your arsenal to send it back. Is that correct? Or the message?
It has to be 6 seconds of reply.
Oh, he can actually reply through. Okay, I didn't realize that. I misunderstood. So, yes, how would you like to think fast?
I'm just like, oh, holy shit.
That's a fair response. At this point, it is quite easy for you to now discern exactly where he is, and would be able to join him up at the lip if you wished.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. At this point, Relic, you're beginning to feel incredibly dizzy. As you have been watching your centipede make its way into the lip, and it is when just behind these brass golems is a metal disc, and you have seen the bronze golem stand on this metal disc. The clay golem stand on this metal disc and then be descended down into the pits. You are now watching from this clay golem's leg inside the pits as it walks past various machines and contraptions. There are lots of these little golems, but from what you've seen, the only non-little golems you've seen are between you, it's fair to say, are the large blue golem that Torgon has seen sitting down on its throne. The stone golem that was excavating, certainly Relic would have seen as well. The two animated armors above the pit, and the two clay golems, obviously, and then the two golems standing guard. These are the only golems that you've seen that are not tiny contraptions, 2 foot in height and what appears to be only for the purpose of serving the machines. So that is the knowledge you've garnered between you, if you like. It is fair to say, Zed, that the only golems you have seen are the clay and the brass and the bronze.
I do want to ask first. Is there anything I can read? I can have Eye of the Runekeeper or something.
So is it fair to say that you can read sort of magical energies?
Or
is this more spiritual energy?
I would be able to read that. I would be able to read magical energy, really. Mm-hmm. I don't think I would be able to read spiritual.
Right, okay. So at this point, it is clear to you that the two hovering above the ground are communicating magically with somebody below. You can feel the strength of the emanations from below, but this magic is so foreign and absurd to you. It is nothing like you've ever experienced before. It is clearly not only non-human, but non-demon, non-celestial, non-anything that you've ever seen before. It is quite bizarre. You don't necessarily understand what it is, but you're aware that it has a magical source.
Okay, so I would like to use Voice of the Chainmaster to repeat exactly what I heard.
To repeat what you've heard?
Yeah.
Okay, so the way this would... the problem is you would have no conduit to produce said type of magic. This is not a natural magic emanation, so what you would get is an sort of imitation, if you like, of this magic.
Yeah, that's
almost like an echo. It produces nothing, but a strange sort of purple and blue, almost powderous light around you, and it would make you very uncomfortable making this sort of echo. It is so foreign and so unusual to a humanoid of any sort, if it's fair to call you a humanoid. Excuse me as I close the door.
I'm not even sure if Kenkus would be considered.
Yeah, me neither. But, it's fair to say it's foreign to said Kenku as well. This is something very unusual to you.
I'm just going to keep doing that through my currently centipede on the leg.
Yeah, okay. Oh, you're doing it through the centipede on its leg. At this point, the clay golem stands incredibly straight and still. And you then find the clay golem rising into the air and surging very rapidly towards what is the large blue golem. And at this point, it is clear that they have noticed that there are magical emanations going on of their ilk within their area.
Now, when you say rise up, do you mean like they start like it levitates?
It is most definitely in the air.
Oh shit.
Oh shit, okay, that's one way of putting it. So yes, at this point you begin to realize that the emanations you were repeating, Relic, were effectively you were repeating their magic, but it's not magic that does anything. It is their communications. At this point, the clay golem you remember that we left outside searching has started sprinting back towards the two golems at the front, and the two golems at the front have risen slightly into the air and are peering out. And what you see, if you've ever seen sort of one of those laser films where there's like a cone of laser sort of left to right, and then it's switching and going up to down, it's combing the area with its sort of very it's a very different form of sight. And you see this laser start with blue, then with green. As the laser turns red, Zed, you feel its eyes upon you. The bronze golem, was playing with the magic on its fists, is now looking very intently directly at you.
He has noticed me.
He is seeing you, most definitely seeing you.
I'll just wave my hand with a little high and try to fucking run. Just that.
Oh, you're gonna run away, yes?
Yes,
Okay.
I'll try to run towards my teammates.
He leaps. Bear in mind he's floating right now, yes, okay? So he then leaps from his floating position and lands behind you, cutting you off from leaving further away, but not from you and your friends. You could keep dashing to the left to escape him. Make an athletics check for me, please.
Sure thing. Athletics. That's my worst roll. That is drum roll 2.
2. Did you say 2?
Yes, I said 2.
As you are attempting to run from this large bronze golem, you have caught your foot under a root. You're flat face down on the ground, and he leans down and scoops you up very gently. He then proceeds back to his bronze compatriot, who has not at any point moved in any way other than to rise 3 foot into the air. His face hasn't moved, his arms haven't moved. He is completely statically still. And this rumbling, strange noise begins, and the brass golem, the golden golem, looks down into the bronze golem's hand where you are currently situated. Can I just check your height, please, Zed?
It should be medium.
Just sort of, we're talking 5 foot?
It should be about 6 foot. Elves tend to be tall,
you're
right?
an elf, right? Yes, okay. So, yeah, I mean, it's fair to say that you are in its hand and it's holding you with fair effortlessly, right? This hand is sort of 3 or 4 foot in width. This is a 14-foot tall bronze golem. You are not in the lightning hand, by the way. So
Yeah,
you're not
I'm just
shocked.
completely constrained.
The brass golem has for the first time moved and peered down and spoken to you in perfect Elvish, saying, "What do you do here?"
Sorry, man. I was just passing through.
Just passing through, and the strange device we discovered earlier that was yelling, was that you?
Yeah, that was me. I just stumbled over.
Make a deception check, please.
What? Yeah. Deception. That is a really keen stat of mine. That would be 23.
23. Okay, and you came alone?
No, I'm just a wandering traveler. I just stumbled on this wall of yours.
Okay. So no friends have come with you?
Nope. I'm just a lonely traveler with my taiko, just hitting drums.
Okay, his face gets slightly closer to you, and then he stands up straight again, tilts his head over, and a bright beam of light surrounds Relic in the woods, and he says, "And what about that person? Do you know them?"
It's not a person, that's a pet. I don't know it.
It's a pet and you don't know it. Make a
No.
persuasion check for me, please.
All right. Persuasion. 17.
17?
Sorry.
Okay. Well, I'm sure that you won't mind if we ask you to remain here for a short moment, then.
Sure.
If you would like to take a ride in our elevator here, and he places you on a bronze disc, and with no warnings whatsoever, the bronze disc drops to the ground. Not harming you in any way, but sort of the speed of movement is not something you would ever have been accustomed to. And you find yourself face to face with a huge stone golem who starts to rumble a strange noise at you. And then you hear a strange click, and he addresses you again in perfect Elvish. "Please step off, sir."
Quite frightened. I'll step off as commanded.
Okay. And he gestures towards a sort of a row of what appears to be velvet benches next to him, and says, take a seat. And he's greeting you again in perfect Elvish.
Thank you, kind golem.
At this point, Relic, you are surrounded by a large circle of white light, and the voice comes to you quite loudly in your native language, which I would struggle to know what the native language of a is for
It's
you?
Aryan.
It's Oren. Okay, perfect. Yes, again, in your native language, very clearly and very crisply, calls out, would you like to come forth?
Just give me a second. I'm collecting things.
I would just start picking up a whole bunch of plants. I could see that doesn't look like grass at all. And then start running quickly.
Coming.
So you're running towards these two golems.
Yeah.
At this point, you are close enough, Torgon and Oscar, that you are aware of what is going on. Torgon staring straight down. You would have seen the descent of your compatriot Zed on this lift. It is fair to say you know what's going on, but what decision would either of you like to make? Oscar, you proceeded to the lip with Torgon, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yep, okay. So both of you would have seen this go on. You've also heard the call out to Relic, but you wouldn't have understood a word of it. Do either of you speak Elvish?
That's a good question. Let me check.
Not me! Look at him! See that?
I speak Common, Giant, and Goblin.
So that leaves us with Oscar. Do you...
No, yeah, just
No.
Common and Dwarvish.
Yeah, okay, so although you've seen the conversations take place, and you've heard the noises, and you've seen your compatriots react, you haven't understood a word of what's been said. So you don't know if they're being forcefully coerced, if they've been persuaded, or if they've just abandoned your cause. Yes.
I wonder if I could run around so they can't see me, and just come around and say, Relic, that's who you've gone to. You shouldn't run away like that. Please, give me back my friend. He likes to collect bugs and things.
Okay, the white light encompasses you both, and you hear the strange click again, and the brass golem addresses you in common, the both of you, and says, we only wish to speak. Please come forth.
Oh, that's no problem. As long as you don't hurt my little Relic, I will go around and swoop him in my arms and pet him. Don't hurt my little Relic, please.
Oh, your little relic. At one point I thought you said brother, and I was thinking that is one of the strangest familial relationships I've ever seen.
No. I said he was one of my
little friend, yeah. Okay.
Little friend, yeah.
Beautiful. So at this point, you would be interacting directly with the bronze golem, who appears to be sort of the guard captain, if you like. And addressing you in perfect common, he says, is this the lot of you?
Well, I did have one more. My bodyguard was here somewhere. I have no clue where he ran off to. I ran off after my poor Relic. I can't leave him by himself, a little pet again. And I just don't know where he I do have one more. I just don't know where he is. Let me just send him a message. Send a message. Oscar, get over here.
At this point, he looks down at you and he says, I can sense your magics.
Yes, I do have a bit of the arcane flair. Would you like a reading?
This is something we have been investigating. I'll leave that till you speak to... excuse me, sorry. I have the wrong page up. Kalva. I'll leave that till you speak to Kalva. That is Kalva, for those of you making notes. Yes, I'll leave that till you speak to Kalva. And perhaps he may be interested in one of your, did you say, readings?
Yes, I can read the spirits, talk to spirits and all that, and perhaps you've lost a loved one, maybe, or maybe not.
Spirit?
We give peace. We give peace to spirits. It's so.
And I just point to body. The body.
Spirit. Strange, this term. I was under the impression it was a form of alcohol.
No, spirits. Yes, there's a form of alcohol. However, spirit is something that belongs to most living things and some non-living things, depending on who you speak to. Perhaps
alcohol feels spirit.
Most interesting, he says. You should speak to Kalva. If you would kindly step onto this disc behind me. While we await your last compatriot, you said. Last.
Yes, we only have one more. He's my bodyguard.
Make a persuasion check, please, Torgon.
That is a 28.
Last it is. Oscar, you have been called upon. How did you react?
I am not drunk, but I do sort of stumble wobbly over, and did I hear spirits?
Oh, there you are, Oscar. I told you. You know what? Don't worry. We'll get you drinks later. I know you're quite parched. I'm just gonna kind of like under his chin a little bit. I know you're quite parched. Don't worry. We'll get you something. He gets this way. But step over here.
And at this point, the three of you are guided onto the disc that you have seen be an elevator. And again, it descends at a speed absurd to all of you. It almost feels like it should have gone down and left you in the air. It was that quick. But yet you feel completely steady upon it. And then it stops at the ground so suddenly, and yet you're not jerked in any way. And the Stone Golem sort of looks down and makes this rumbling sound and addresses you all in common. If you would step this way, and he guides you to the velvet seats.
Certainly.
I'll give everyone a little wave.
Lovely, and we shall take a short break there. Welcome back. Here we find our adventurers sat on a plush velvet sofa, having a deep conversation with a Stone Golem, who is currently gesturing towards certain machines and saying, this one here creates food, and this one here creates tools, and this one here is creating these small gnome-like robots that you see moving around. If you would kindly come with me, gentlemen, I will take you to see Calva. He is our leader. He is gesturing for you to follow, if you would like to proceed. Yep, Relic. Playing with the machines may result in unforeseen circumstances, and unforeseen circumstances are not acceptable in our society. If you would like to come with us. Okay. Yep. Yep, and Torgen, sorry? You were going to say? So as you look around you and you begin to sort of proceed slowly after the Stone Golem, you see what appears to be hundreds of these minute gnome-like robots scurrying left and right. The clay golem that you previously had witnessed via Centipede, still giving Relic minor motion sickness, is striding amongst the machines, sort of checking on the little golems. As you go through and look at the machines, you see cranks and handles and cogs and wheels, and there are some tables laid out, and at the front of each machine there are conveyor belts, and these conveyor belts are producing certain items and placing them on the tables. Unfortunately, not necessarily valuable, but perhaps useful items are being produced. So you see on one a spanner, a screwdriver, a wrench, etc., many different tools, a hammer, a mallet, a chisel. On the other machine you see sort of complete items of food coming out. So this isn't to say a chicken leg, we are talking a full meal is coming out on plates at each given time. So you see a roast dinner, you see a birthday cake, you see sort of imitations of what, if you imagine a meal in your head right now, that is the sort of meal that would come out on said plate, completely ready to eat, hot, steaming food. A bowl of soup has most recently appeared of the most strange orange color. As you look slightly further down, you see a machine producing what appears to be the smallest of little metal circles, thousands of them, one after another after another after another. As you take a closer look at these little gnome robots, you see that they are made up of lots of metal, sort of small metal cylinders and these circular rivets at each side. So this is producing items to then be used in the production of these gnome robots. Unfortunately, everything is so well kept and so tidy and so neat. There is nothing laying about in any sense. Everything is placed upon the correct table. Every table is then collected by one of the robots and wheeled to another place where it is then fed back into another machine where it will produce another system. What is most strange is that you see this machine closest to you producing food, but nobody around you seems to be somebody who would eat said food. As the golem gestures, the machines sort of stop in a sort of 8-foot wide path either side, and this path you see two similar to the gnomes, but perhaps a little taller, perhaps a little wider, a little more heavy set. Oscar, you may recognize these as a terrible imitation of dwarves. Appear to be lining the edge of the path with brickwork and paving the ground in front of you. And the stone golem leans down and says, I do apologize. We are currently in the process of finishing the creation of our society here. So you may need to step around some construction, but if you proceed down the path, Kelvar awaits you. As you are on this path, the two animated armors that you had previously seen above you begin to descend very slowly to either side of Kelvar. And ahead of you, as you look up, you see Kelvar himself, who has now risen from the throne and is leaning his arms out, gesturing almost in a welcoming manner. And a voice comes to each of you, but very quietly, almost as if in your ear and in your native language. Each one of you is being addressed in your native language. Greetings. Please come forth. Did you just respond in your native language? I thought that was Relic responding in his native language. The Aaron squawk has come forth. Sorry? Well, as you have each been addressed individually, each one of you would have the chance to respond individually by coming forth or responding vocally. No need for that. No need for that comes into your ear. I'm not your sovereign. That is most appreciated. Welcome, I am Kelvar. I was known as the First. Story to be told, a story to be told. As he is speaking to you directly, voices are also coming into the rest of your ears, saying, come forth, and who might you be? Perhaps the first person to hear it would be Relic. Spirits, yes. My colleague here, Clayton, mentioned this to me. I apologize if you do not see us in our communications, but we have found that the communication of tongue to be somewhat clunky and is only used for us across in closer proximity. Normally, communication of the mind is sufficient for us. Clayton mentioned these spirits. Spirits is not something we have come across in our studies of your kind. Could you explain what a spirit is, Relic? Like this, he says, and he reaches to his chest, and through the inscription he pulls forth what appears to be a bright shining gem with light bursting from it in the brightest of colors. I mean, it is almost blinding to look directly at. He says, this here controls my body and my mind and my movement. Is this a spirit? Kelvar, just Kelvar. he looks incredibly confused, and he says, you said something leaves your body when you die. By this you mean break? Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. As you play, he is contemplating the gem in his hand, and he then sort of places it back within his chest, and the metal resumes over the top of it, and the runes return. And you begin to play. What sort of sound are we hearing? I'm not asking you to sing. I'm just giving an example. Is this a slow melodic tune? Is this a... Mm-hmm. Yes. Just keep playing for the moment. The sound progresses. At this point, the voice appears again in each of your ears, apart from Torgun, who is currently playing. To each of you, you hear, "Is this normal for your species?" Zed would be the first to sort of hear this. Is this a normal thing? This noise your companion is producing? I will be fair and say it wouldn't matter if you rolled a 50. You would still have absolutely no idea what it is that you had just beheld. Hence the lack of check. So it is so absurdly foreign to you all. A bit like the speech. It's something so different. Yep. So he says, is this sound your companion producing normal to you people? Is this him? Is this words to you? The astral plane we have briefly taken note of, and yet it is not a comfortable place for us. For we find that when we go forth in the astral plane, we have no form. However, you speak of this perishing, like food when it is no longer good. That this food that you people consume, is this what you mean by perishes? You rot, am I correct? Yes, that is quite tragic and quite inconvenient. I don't know why you would create yourselves thus. And you speak of these emotions. Emotions. This is the things that the things that go on in your mind in relation to what you see and what you hear. Is this correct? We do not consume, but I have heard of this tea you speak of. The sound is admittedly pleasing to one's ear, but when we studied the emotions, we decided they were not a useful part of the human makeup, and therefore decided not to use these in the creation of ourselves. I understand not why you would want these emotions. Now, if you would make a performance check for me, please, Torgun. Yes, Torgun, the musician over here. Nice, nice. Despite the fact that this Kelva has professed not to be affected by emotions, and indeed appears completely unmoved by your music, the small armors either side begin to sort of almost sway in time. And the Kelva looks over to both of them, and you hear a sort of slight rumbling click. And they begin to stand very still and look slightly ashamed of themselves. Oscar, the mind in your ear comes through in your dwarvish language, and he addresses you and says, "And your people seem to be the more pragmatic of those that I have read here. Do you also invest in this emotions and spirit?" Oh, just bear with me a second. For some reason our sound wasn't coming through properly. Apologies. The Kelvar then reacts to this, Oscar, and says, "So, you're practical enough not to show your emotions, but you still choose to have them."
Yes.
Most impractical. At this...
Emotions, while certainly cloud the mind and judgment, serve their purpose to not just dwarvish culture, but humans and halflings and the others as well.
Purpose? What purpose do these emotions serve? They seem mostly to get in the way of everything.
Well, they certainly can at times. I will not argue with you on that. By the way, are these foods, are they real? Like, can I...
Yes, most definitely. Do you hunger?
Always.
A small rumbling click happens, and two robotic gnomes are coming down the path, bearing a dish in each hand. Succeeding in your performance check so successfully, a spirit has come forth. Is that correct, Torgan?
Most definitely.
What form does the spirit take?
A small child.
Small child. Kelvar has no reaction whatsoever, and says in your ear, "I apologize for interrupting your strange stroking of the wood, but we sense a magic emanating forth from you, but its shape we cannot perceive."
I would assume not. Well, but by the way, you were talking with my friend here. It'd be quite hard. But this, Kava, is a spirit.
At this point, you are gesturing to the spirit, is that correct? Yes.
Yes, precisely.
He then sort of leans down and waves his hand through the area where the spirit is, and sort of through and around in a sort of larger shape that implies that he perhaps cannot see what you are gesturing at. And he says, "I am unsure. However, if you would kindly consent, young one, I would like to make a connection with you. This may feel slightly strange and disorienting from what I'm told by the previous humanoids that we have encountered, but it does not hurt and it will not affect you." And then, sort of without any warning, you feel a jolt, you feel a slight magical, sort of twinge on you. And he says, "Yes, I see what you see. This is not something we can perceive as our own." And then the child spirit is now visible to him, but from your perspective.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That reminded me of a time in a tavern long time ago. Yes. And this is a spirit or a ghost, as some other may call it. Unfortunately, this child is unable to move on. But if you would permit me,
please continue.
I'll simply lean down and slightly run my hand over the girl's head and be at pace. And then the spirit should.
As Kelvar is sort of watching on, the two animated beings to his right and left sort of sigh gently in a strange sort of but Kelvar appears unmoved and looks very deeply at you. And, no, this is an illusion you have dismissed?
No, you see, like you were speaking with my friend before about asking about emotions. Emotions themselves are energy. So perhaps usually when we die, sometimes the imprint is left on the world. This is a manifestation of that energy. I've just simply let the child rest.
Most impractical. When something in our society has outlived its usefulness, it merely becomes something else, of more use. For example, if, for say, my friend here, and he gestures towards the animated armor to his right, this here Rel, if he was to find that his purpose was no longer in need of fulfilling, if he was to find that perhaps he had rusted at the edges, or his consciousness was no longer as sharp as it once was, we would simply disassemble him, repack him, and he would become something more useful, perhaps a better version of himself. Surely this is far more practical than this emotionful, spirit-wandering imprint upon the world that you guys would leave, and then just rot. Why do you create yourselves this way?
Mind if I step in?
Please.
This is being addressed to all of you at this point. You are all hearing the same voice.
You see, emotions make us unique. Every individual, even if he's rusted, even if he needs a new purpose, his emotions are enough to make him stand out. It is not in tandem that an individual has to be at its best self. If his emotions can be manifested and be portrayed with a use that we may not know. Emotions can create discoveries that we do not understand or perceive, and we can answer emotions. Emotions may seem minimal, but they are a great tool.
Most interesting. You see, when we studied the previous humanoids that we have come across, emotions appeared to be fleeting things that you were not in any way in control of. And this seemed highly impractical, but you are speaking as if they come in useful.
There are some emotions that can't display negative effects. This that you explained must have been fear. This is created in not understanding, but better, clear understanding and environment can portray different emotions. Emotions in themselves can be a language.
We have discovered fear before, and at this point a fist from Kelvar swings incredibly fast towards your face, Zed, and stops mere millimeters from your nose. And he says, you see, we have discovered that this elicits the fear that you discuss. You sort of, he just sort of steps back a bit and goes, I do apologize. And at this point, the gnomes are now the robot gnomes are now handing you each a meal. The smells coming from it are wondrous. It is one of the finest examples of cuisine. You can imagine, each one completely different. Oscar, you are presented with a meal of rich venison with, potatoes and various vegetables and a gravy. Zed, you are presented with a large piece of fish with rice and various vegetables involved. Torgan, you're presented with something that you've almost never seen before. It appears to be sort of a wrapped item, almost like an oversized dumpling, and within, as you cut in it, there is various textures of meat and vegetable and potato all together. And finally, he has handed you relic what appears to be raw meat. And within that raw meat is sort of texturous juices and various vegetables surrounding it. But he then addresses each of you in his mind and says, you see, without emotion, we would not know that you would enjoy such a thing as this. But without our emotions and our lack of need to eat, we can get on with far more practical processes. Eating was another thing that we decided was not particularly necessary, although you strange creatures seem to find some pleasure in this process. If you would like to eat, by all means, continue and eat as we discuss, for you do not need to form your words out loud should you. Although, am I correct in saying that if you, and he points at Torgan, do not form your words out loud, you, and he points at Oscar, would not be able to hear them? The question is addressed to Oscar.
That would be correct, and something he might start noticing as I'm eating this perfectly prepared venison. It's sort of that scene from Ratatouille when the grumpy food critic eats the ratatouille and he's sort of brought back to his childhood. Like, this is what Oscar's experiencing. Like his grandmother used to make this for him. Wow. And he is very clearly visually emotional about it.
That's good. Kelva sort of first of all responds to your comment in saying that surely not being able to communicate via one's mind is just purely impractical. Would this not be far simpler than making these words out loud? And some of you seem to make a lot of words out loud that truly mean absolutely nothing whatsoever. This is incredibly impractical, no?
Impractical, yes. You know, your way of life is optimal, but for the emotions and the way we live, it gives that spice of life that makes it worth living. You know, nothing is ever better than the slap on the face after having a night with a woman is. I'm not sure if you would ever understand that.
No. This is part of your creation process, am I correct?
Yeah. Somewhat.
It would indeed be quite good for our creation process to be pleasant. Unfortunately, it is not pleasant for us. You appear half-formed, and slowly bits are added. I can say as the first that I have greatly improved upon this process. However, we found it quite a lot more efficient. Now...
Can I ask something?
You can.
I sort of mentioned, I'm trying to find their name. Belding and Tinarek?
Yep, Tinarek and Belding.
Yeah, I asked them, like, what happened to them?
Unfortunately, this is an act of our predecessors. We would have been far more practical in our usage of Beldon and Tinarek. It would seem that they did not see eye to eye with our creators, and thus they were disposed of.
Oscar's face goes from being, it's still emotional from reminiscing, but now it's sort of becoming anger.
Oh. Sense a strange response from you. Return to that. Do you not dispose of that which is not useful to you?
No.
Oh. Surely your world becomes very cluttered.
Well, usually time and disease take care of that. Or...
this rotting process you speak of, yes. I see, so one is to counteract the other. So if you did not have useless things in your life, you would not need the rotting process.
We don't discard of people that aren't useful to us, especially people that are close to us, especially people that we care about.
Well, yes, I mean, we have come to see that this is a slightly indelicate way of dealing with things. As you may see, some of our most recent encounters are over there. And he gestures, and what you see is something you haven't previously seen, that within some of these gnome robots are actual beings underneath the medals and cogs. Not all of them, merely some of them. Especially the dwarven versions of these appear to have some sort of being in them that is far smaller than the fit. And he said, admittedly, they no longer know that they are useful, but at least to us, they have become far more practical. Unfortunately, sometimes people of your ilk seem to find our presence distressing or upsetting to them. At least this is the words that they use to describe the emotions, as you say, that they are experiencing. And once again, we come to the impracticality of emotions, for then they decide to intrude upon us and perhaps try and prevent us from living in our society. Now, we, as a practical race, have realized that if we were to come into your town, say, sir, and he gestures towards Oscar, if we were to come into your town, and we were to start moving things around or deciding that some of you were impractical and removing you, you may find this slightly upsetting and slightly problematic, and you may, in return, be forced to show some force. Is that not fair to say?
You aren't real.
He flicks you in the forehead fairly viciously. You take 4 bludgeoning damage, and he says, "If I was not real, would you have felt that?"
You are not real in the what's the word I'm looking for? I'm blanking. Yeah, like I don't want to say metaphysical, but like you aren't real, as in you. Not to get overly preachy, but I'll say like soul. Like like okay. You don't. Yeah.
So you are saying I have no soul? Well, we discussed earlier that these souls were minorly impractical. I still see no purpose for them. However, we are staying to ourselves. We are not intruding upon anyone else. So why would anyone else wish to intrude upon us? And at this point, he sort of nods in apology to you, Oscar, and he makes this clicking sound, and one of the armors to his left this time raises its hand, and a blue light emanates towards you, healing you for 3 health. That is Oscar, by the way, healed for 3 health. Yep. Torgun.
I'm going to maneuver over to Oscar and put my hand on his shoulder. Calva, perhaps do you have wine, spirits at all for my friend here? This will probably settle him slightly.
Unfortunately, we have found the effect of intoxicants to be quite erratic upon your humanoid species, and it often results in what we see to be unnecessary conflict, let's say. So we do not keep them here.
Ooh, okay.
This is a dry society?
Why, yes, sir. As I said, many humanoids of your type, when they seem to imbibe these intoxicants, then decide to not only have conflict with those they do not like, but regularly conflict with those they do like, and that to us seems highly impractical, and therefore we have not had this presence in our society.
No, Oscar. No, it's okay. It's okay.
So perhaps it is time for us to move on to what may be slightly more important matters. He gestures towards Torgun and towards Zed and says, "You two appear to be the most practical of the 4 of you, despite this one being a dwarf who we've previously experienced to be practical, seems a little rife with emotion. The 2 of you, for what purpose have you come?"
We were telepathically spoken to by a gnome who was probably crushed alive by one of you folk. We don't understand if that is true, but that message directed you to us.
Crushed? That would be one of my predecessors. As I said, I am the first, but unfortunately we had some failed attempts before that. The gnome you speak of is this Tineric.
That name sounds familiar. Yes, it must be him.
He was the person who came up with the creation of our species. He, however, created us very flawed and then wished us to do exactly what he wished us to do. My predecessor decided that this was highly impractical and removed him and decided to create a better version of ourselves. Now we are entirely practical and we serve a purpose.
Well, he created you under the emotion that he would gain power. That is a wrong way of, but the thing is, emotions did get useful. Golems. One of them did have a aggressive emotion and attempted to attack us, while the other ones showed us that you golems are not aggressive towards us, and has brought us to this conversation in the first place.
The aggressors that attacked you, were these the golems that returned to us just recently?
These two were the ones that showed us that you people are not aggressive. It was one we had to practice.
Well, a kind deed you have done us if you have prevented this golem from going out further into the world. For those of us that have come across as aggressive are made of the previous maker and were imperfect in their usage.
I suspect that even the perfect golems would need to fight. They need to find a new purpose. Will they need this discarded for war? I suspect the worst could happen.
Yes, occasionally we have found ourselves needing to defend ourselves, and for that reason we have definitely some prowess in battle, as you would call it, but we try not to engage in battle unless forced to do so.
Then what's the purpose of all of this practicality?
Now, you ask the purpose of our society.
I've not asked the purpose of your society. I specifically asked, is the purpose of the previous machine not remembered? Just an execution you do and then you...
Sorry, you cut out there, Zed.
Oh, pardon. I say that if the purpose they have, is it remembered by, or is it just discarded?
Well, the purpose is always remembered in the minds of those who come next. We take any mistake that we have made and attempt to better ourselves and remember from it, of course. However, sometimes these errors are merely just that. They are errors. The golem of which you speak, I believe, was of the more flesh variety. Is that correct?
I did not know if so.
Yes.
Yes, they were flesh golems.
He was most definitely an error in most senses of the word. Unfortunately, our intelligence program had not necessarily been upgraded to its full potential at that point, and therefore he was incapable of rational thought. We had sent two more of his kind who were slightly more capable to retrieve him, and I believe that is when you came across him.
Right.
So, yes, we can learn from mistake, but some errors are just that. They are errors.
But how would you try to fix errors? You will fix errors so much that the first thing might be unrecognizable.
Yes,
and
I mean,
we'll keep on... Nothing can be perfect. The world has been created with imperfections.
Our society is just that. It is perfection.
Well, yet, if it's perfect, how have you come to this conflict?
What conflict, sir?
Well, the people we had seemed distraught in fear. There would have been some sort of dispute amongst the golems and the people of our society.
Are you suggesting, sorry, out of context, are you saying that the flesh golem that was released and was headed into town was going to cause the conflict, or that there is a coming conflict because the people...
There is a coming conflict.
Right, okay, yeah. And yet this conflict does not come from us. We live peacefully in this society and we do not extend our boundaries.
Yet, their golems have crossed our boundaries. I'm not saying that they are not welcome.
Only the erroneous golem that we retrieved, no? That is an error that has been fixed, and we will continue to do so until perfection is truly achieved. Society, I say that our society is perfection. It is perfection as we perceive it right now. Should we find down the line that errors have been made, we will improve.
So, Kava, what is your purpose now? Is it only seeking perfection?
We have two purposes in our life. One is to seek perfection, and one is to correct error. These are not the same.
Correcting error, do you only mean within your society, or do you mean...
Correcting error in our surroundings.
Uh-huh.
Now, Oscar. Now.
I look at Torgen, and I'm just like I'm doing that sort of like low key whispering, you know, like these things are an abomination against our people, and by our people I mean like dwarves, orcs, tieflings,
humanoids,
kenkus, you know, the mortal beings. On top of that, like, he throws around the word facsimile, like they are just, you know, they're like your illusions, you know, they are not real, and to just discard, and you know, and he's like, they were my friends, Baldar and Tenurek were my friends.
And a voice interjects in your head, Oscar, speaking quite gently, and says, "We can hear you, dwarf."
And I turn and I look at him and I do like the rudest dwarvish gesture, and I say, "Stay the fuck out of my head."
Roll initiative, please.
Sorry.
No, I love it.
That is, yeah, that was expected at some point. He was intending to entice.
I rolled a natural one.
Just hold your rolls for a second.
I rolled a 5.
There we go. That's what we're looking for. Otherwise, only two of you will be fighting.
Before we fight,
okay, Torgen, sorry, your initiative. I'll come back to you in a second. Oscar, just Torgen, your initiative.
23.
Yep. Relic, your initiative.
I hesitated on that, sorry.
That's okay.
21.
21. Oscar, your initiative.
5. I'm gonna run to the bathroom really quick.
That's absolutely fine. Zed, your initiative.
24.
24.
Oh,
we have an extra monster. That's interesting. Where did he come from? Apparently a flesh golem has snuck onto the battlefield and been immediately eradicated by a stray bolt of lightning. I don't know where he came from. I've moved
that's my camera a little bit better.
So just to remind you, Oscar, you are number 1, Relic, you are number 2, Zed, you are number 3, and Torgen, you are number 4. Okay, as we wait for Oscar to return from the bathroom, just to give you...
I'm back.
Okay, beautiful. So to give you an outline of the battle, what you have is in front of you, sort of 8 or 9 foot in front of you, is Calva himself. To his right and left, you see 2 animated forms of armor, glistening with magic around them. To your far right, you see the returning clay golem, who was previously involved in the fighting. The second clay golem you see to your far left, who had previously descended and spoken with the brass and bronze golem at the door. And finally, the stone golem that showed you in is standing just behind you all. At one gesture of Calva's arm, sort of what appears to be walls made of the purest electric blue light have risen around you in a square, and you are confined to just this battlefield. There is within this battlefield only one obstacle, and that is the chair, the throne upon which Calva was sat. Other than that, there is almost an open space. It seems as if this very arena has been prepared for this situation. We come first of all to Zed.
All right.
Can I just say something
yeah,
really quick?
of course.
As a gladiator, like I'm just like, you turned this into an arena.
Yes, pretty much. You find yourself confronted with the battlefield. The Stone Golem is shortly behind you.
I wish to ask, enemy 1 through 3. How many feet?
Right, so within this battlefield, imagine this is only 12 by 12, maybe 16 by 16 feet. So there is very little gap between anybody right now. It is fair to say if you took 2 steps forward, you would be able to hit 3, 2, 1, and B.
So I want to cast Force Gauge and lock every other golem except the enemy 4, since I can't lock him.
Okay, sorry, you are number 3. You are casting that in this direction then? Yes.
Correct.
Okay, and just give me a second. Force Gauge.
It
You're
is-
casting at what level?
Let me ping the.
So I can see the spell. I can see the spell, but what level are you casting it at?
I think it's the 7th level
Yeah,
spell.
you're
right?
casting it at 7th level. Yes, correct. So this is an immovable, invisible, cube-shaped prison. Springs into existence around this area. You are caging them away from you guys. Is correct?
Correct. Just to make a wall
Okay.
of sorts.
And how tall would this cage be? Does it have a ceiling?
It is how tall? Let's see.
It's up to
10 foot.
The prison can be up to 20 feet on each side.
Yes, but
And
it's only
let's see. It doesn't specify height.
in the prison and in the shape of a box can be up to 10 feet on a side. Correct?
To the D&D Beyond, it says 20 feet.
So this
Oh,
is a
wait,
cage. What I'm saying is this a cage or a solid box? Does this have a roof or not?
It's a wall. Like as much distance it can make.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. And any bonus action?
I wish to yell at the golems. This is the perfection you're seeking, yet we are in conflict. This is not correct.
And in return, Kelvar yells back directly into your mind, "You are an error."
All right, now since I don't have a bonus, do I have a bonus action?
Yeah, you can use a bonus action if you have a bonus action.
I could use a bardic inspiration to Torgen, and that's it.
Okay, Torgen, that's a 1d12 bonus bardic inspiration, I believe.
Yes, it's a D12.
Okay, speaking of which, Torgen, that brings us to you.
Okay, so I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna like, thanks for that, Zed. Did I ever tell you the time that I actually ended up running with some of the gnomes against away from bulls? Did I ever tell you about that?
Never.
Never? Oh, okay. I'm going to roll. I'm going to pretty much tell a story. I'm pretty much using my bonus action to tell a story.
Yep. And the results of that are?
I'm going to hold on to this tell for a little bit because I have to spend the action for it. And with my action, I'm going to touch the back of Oscar and cast haste on him.
Okay.
Oh snap! I gotta look up what that does.
2 actions per turn. Yes,
What?
is that correct?
Thanks.
Torgen, it's correct. It's 2 actions per turn. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So it's 2 actions per turn. And at this point, that is your bonus action and action use, correct?
Yes. So it's 2 actions per turn. He gets +2 bonuses. AC has advantage on dexterity saving throws.
Of course, yeah, the AC bonus as well. Yep.
Yep.
The dex I'll remember for you. Anything else within haste? I don't think there is there?
And his speed is double. His movement speed is doubled.
And for all the use that'll be, you can run a whole 12 foot. Well, even less now. We have a force cage in front of you. Which brings us to Relic.
How long does that last?
Until he loses concentration, or for
1 minute.
a minute, which is effectively, a fair bit of combat.
Yeah.
And then I basically get lethargic when it ends.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, cool.
Okay.
So I'll say what you do best.
And that brings us to Relic.
So I was reading and I was looking away for a bit when he casts Force Cage. Where did he cast that?
He has cast a force cage around the 5 enemies you see in front of you.
Okay, so that means we only have that one.
That's the idea.
Oh, and where is my quasits at the moment?
The Stone Golem? It is
Um,
a foot behind you.
oh, he's behind us right now.
Yes, he's enemy 4.
Oh, that makes
Stone
me
Golem is-
just then.
because
Okay,
he,
so
he led you into the room, correct, and stood behind you, so this is why he is currently behind you.
so I'm going to cast Eldritch Blast on the one behind us.
Okay, Eldritch Blast is what type of damage? Force, correct?
Force.
It's boss.
Yep, and a roll for hit, please.
That was a 19 hit.
Yes, it does.
Oh wait, I have to roll for each one.
No, I'll take the one roll, please. That
The one roll?
that will
Okay.
hit, yep. Let's have damage rolls, please. Is that
First one does 3. Second one 8, and the third one also 8.
As the blast comes forth from you, the Stone Golem's shoulder, sort of a little bit of stone crumbles down to the ground with the first blast. As the second one hits him directly in the center of the chest, he is staggered ever so slightly backwards. Another rock pours forth, and the third one takes him in the side of the face, and a bit of his jaw crumbles off. He looks thoroughly angry at you, and his eyes take on a red pool.
I take a step back, and I command my quasit to
When you say step
attack him.
backwards, this is towards the other enemies and back away from the Stone Golem, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And your quasits hit?
Do the attack roll from.
Is this still a centipede?
Yeah.
Okay. What damage type is your centipede doing?
It's considered magical, but it's going to
It is
be
considered magical, right? Okay, there we go. And that's fine. That's all I needed. Yep. Damage?
okay.
Sorry, your hit roll was
8.
yes. Okay. The Stone Golem appears very confused that there is a tiny centipede trying to attack it, and doesn't feel a thing. And that brings us to the first of the floating animated armors either side of Kelvar, enemy 2, and he is going to use his action to rise into the air approximately 15 foot, which allows him to see over the bars of his force cage, and you see him begin to conjure with his hands, but as such no magic is coming forth. And that concludes its turn. It is now floating above the battleground enemy 2. At this point, Kelvar is going to leap up into the air, being 18 foot tall. He takes a large stride and thunders down in the center of the two of you. That is Relic and Zed. And he is going to attack at Zed with a yes, that hits, and deals 19 bludgeoning damage.
All right.
Hold on.
Yep.
I would like to, seeing my friend in peril, I would like to use my reaction and break my earring that has the cloud rune on it. And doing this, if either somebody else or myself is going to hit by attack roll within 30 feet, that creature must choose a different target.
Okay. So as the cloud rune obscures his vision, he swings exactly 180 degrees and instead slams out at Relic, dealing...
Oh yeah, okay, I'm sorry. I have to choose the creature for him.
Oh, you choose. Right, okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Get them
Hit your Stone Golem friend, please. Leave my beautiful
well,
stand
that's
alone.
awesome.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
That is wicked. I love that. I didn't even know that was a thing. Yes, dealing 19 damage. His fist thunders into the forehead of his... Just out of curiosity, I'm going to allow it to pass this time, and he has already punched his Stone Golem, but would that not count as a form of charm? Or mental... There is no save at all?
That's interesting. No, there's no save to it. Right here, I'll post it in the chat right here. But it says like once per short rest, when you or a creature you can see within 30 feet of you is hit by an attack roll, you can use your action to choose a different creature other than the attacker within 30 feet of you to become the target of the attack instead of using the roll. Doesn't say any type of save or anything, but I do lose the rune. I can't do it anymore now.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, you would just think something that's immune to charm, frighten, petrified, all sort of mental attack would not be affected. But yeah, he's thoroughly punched his Cloud Golem in the face. And at which point he lets out a roar of frustration and draws a sword from inside his arm.
Is that emotion I see, Kalva?
Nice.
Oh, well played.
He yells out
Yeah,
again.
that was good.
Error.
Oh yeah, frustration. One of the biggest.
And he swings his...
Lord emotion.
Clearly demonstrating a lot of emotion, swings his sword out at Relic, but wildly in his frustration and misses by quite a long way. And that brings us to Oscar.
So I'm assuming that the force cage is up and like it works both ways, right?
Yes.
Like I can't go through it
Indeed.
basically unless I go above it.
Yeah.
Okay, so then with that said, I'm gonna go and attack Culver.
Okay. And roll to hit, please.
Okay, so
Don't forget your hasted.
yeah, so
Does he not also have the Bardic Inspiration, or was that put upon Torgon?
That's on me.
Yeah, right, okay, cool. Carry on.
so I will attack 4 times and then 1 bonus action.
Okay, give me
so-
5 hit rolls, please.
Yeah. So 1.
That hits.
So that's a 27.
Yep,
A 22.
that hits.
A 12.
That does not hit. That does not
And
hit.
an 11, and then as a bonus action, 1 more. Actually, I'm gonna burn
Key
a
strike. Key
key
point.
point and do a flurry of
Okay,
blows,
so 2 more hit rolls, please.
and a 27.
Yep, okay, so if you would roll for me 4 damage rolls of your unarmed damage.
Okay. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
What was the final roll? I got the first 3.
9.
Yep.
Is there a way to see the I don't want to hit clear all, but is there a way to see the
I don't know, but I
Okay.
added them as they went through. I just missed the
Okay.
last one. So yeah,
Okay.
Your first punch sort of rocks into Kelvar's shin. The second one rocks into the side of his knee. The third one you sort of kick out at his ankle, and the fourth one you headbutt forwards, driving your forehead into his kneecap. His leg stumbles back ever so slightly, and that will bring us to the end of your turn.
and then because I did flurry of blows, I move away from him.
Yep, you backflip correctly.
Yeah,
Yep.
or like tumble away or something. Yeah.
Yep. Well, it's fair to say you advanced and retracted, yes? So you
Yes.
return to this situation. Okay. At this point, the Stone Golem's eyes sort of roll out in a red conic shape. If you would please make a Wisdom save. And let me know if you fail a DC 17 Wisdom save.
Is that for me?
All of you.
Okay.
Wisdom 18. Nice.
Nice. Okay.
21.
Oscar's a.
I got a
14,
four. I got
Okay,
a
so
14.
Oscar and Relic, you are now slowed. You cannot use any reactions, and your movement speed is half, and you cannot make more than one attack on your turn.
Oof.
You repeat the saving throw at the start of your next turn. Okay.
Okay.
At this point, the clay golem, in most sneaky form, is going to walk up to the bars of its cage and start rattling them, and that it concludes its turn. Finally, the second enemy, the other animated armor, is going to use its movement speed to rise back up into the air. As you remember, it was previously levitating. And it is going to drop a ball of fire upon you all. A small pea flies out from its hands. And it deals... Oh, that is not what we wanted to do.
You're casting Fireball, right?
I am, yes.
Oh, okay. So I think we have to make a
Yeah, you will
dexterity
in a second. It deals what appears to be damage to Kelvar. However, Kelvar's armor starts to resurge around his body, and he regains a small amount of armor as opposed to losing it. At this point, if you would kindly make a dexterity save for me, please.
Right, 17.
Wow.
18.
12.
Okay, so who were the 6 and 12?
Relics.
And Oscar got the 12.
Okay, Oscar and Relic, you take 29 damage. The other two take 15. Yes, 15, sorry.
Right, for Relic, I wish to use one of my bardic inspirations as a reaction. Right, what the text says, as a reaction, the creature that's
A reaction?
yeah makes an attack roll ability check called damage roll. You can expend the use of bardic inspiration, roll the die, and subtract the number from the creature's roll. So I could subtract the damage, correct?
Only if it was cast on yourself, I believe, no?
It says, let's see. Oh, it's one creature I can see. So yeah, it's about rolls. It's not about, yeah, it's completely wrong. Sorry for that.
Yeah, before knowing the outcome as well. Yeah, so we'll hold off on that one. So yeah, if you were Relic or the other person who rolled under a 17, you took 29. If you were not, you took 15. And that leads us back to Zed.
All right, one
Can
second.
I just check? I know Relic was slowed. Was the other one Oscar? Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, okay. That's fine. So Zed, we come to you.
All right, I'll cast Vicious Mockery to Calvar and have these words relate to him. If you emote so imperfectly, why don't you record yourself, dummy?
And the damage type of
It's psychic.
yes, I thought it was. Kelvar appears unaffected.
I see. Is he made the psychic damage?
He is indeed.
All right.
Apologies.
No worries about that. I still have a bonus action,
Yep.
but I really don't know which spells I can use on the bonus action because I don't know my spells.
If you click on the reaction section, the only reaction spell you can cast is Counterspell, I believe. Oh, sorry, that's Torgon.
no,
only
for my
reaction
reactions
spell you
I
can
have
cast is
Hellish Rebuke.
Yeah.
But I want to cast. Oh, I could cast Compelled Duel. It's a concentration spell. If a creature I choose attacks a creature other than me, it has disadvantage.
As a reaction?
No,
as
it's
a bonus
action.
As a bonus action, yes.
I'll cast Compelled Duel as a bonus action then.
Yep. And who are you casting that on?
To Calvo.
Okay. and that is a Wisdom 18 saving throw. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. He appears unaffected.
All right. End of my turn.
Apologies. That brings us to Torgen.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and we'll have a little bit of fun.
So just to remind you briefly, you have two enemies floating above the force cage. One is rattling the cages to the left, one is rattling the cages to the right. And then you have a Stone Golem and a which appears fairly injured, and Kelvar, who just appears mildly frustrated and is demonstrating emotion. Right next to you. So take your turn.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to continue this though. I'm going to cast Guiding Bolt level 4 upon Calva.
Okay, Guiding Bolt is... Let's have a look.
It's a spell attack, I think.
Yes, it's a.
So it's radiant
spell attack.
damage, is that correct?
Yes, radiant damage.
Okay, roll to hit, please.
I rolled a 15, and I'm going to add my bardic inspiration to that I was given by Zed.
Excellent decision making. Bringing it up to... That,
25.
That hits. And roll damage, please.
29 damage, and he. Everyone has advantage on attacks against him.
Yep.
So
Not
like-
only does it do you cast this damage, but unlike the fire damage where you saw the armor sort of reform, this appears to do quite the opposite effect, and the armor appears shattered in various places as it hits. He definitely appears actually wounded from this, and hurt.
I'm going to use my movement to back a little bit further away into that bottom right corner there.
Yep. Oh, no, let's not move the enemy. Yep. This is probably as far as you can get. You are now sort of 6 foot away from them both.
Oh. That's going to end my turn for now.
Okay, that brings us to Relic. Relic, you need to start your turn by making a Wisdom saving throw, please.
Yep. I made roll 16.
Was it 17 you needed to hit? It was. Yes, unlucky. Continue.
Okay, so I only have one action, right?
You do only have one action. You have a bonus action, just not a reaction.
Oh, okay.
And your movement speed is half. You just can't attack more than once on your turn. Oh, sorry, no,
So-
I correct you. I stand corrected. You can make either an action or a bonus action, but not both.
As I feared.
Yes, that is quite brutal, isn't it, Slow? How rude.
So I'm going to step to the left of myself, all the way to the wall,
Yep.
but not touching
So
it.
left is we look at the map, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. That's fine. Because I'm
And then I'm gonna
facing
cast-
downwards. Yeah.
And then I'm gonna cast Witch Bolt on Calvar.
You're gonna cast?
Witch Bolt.
Yep. Damage type is
Lightning.
decision. Yep, roll to hit, please.
Remember, you have advantage.
You do.
Yes, I shall roll 2 then.
Perfect, that hits. Yep, and roll for damage.
I love seeing all the dice just roll out. That deal 36.
As the lightning thunders into him, you can see the currents being carried by his metal armor, and the damage just sort of rattles all over his body. And he appears even more wounded at this point. And that brings us to the first of the floating enemies, who is going to cast what appears to be a blue light emanates from his hand into Kelvar's back. Kelvar stands stronger and taller and is clearly healed. Bear with me a second. I'm just rolling that. That is... Yep. Okay. That then brings us to Kelvar himself, who is going to stomp upon the ground, causing you all to take... make a Constitution saving throw, please. Actually, it's fair to say, sorry, Torgun, you don't need to. But the other three, you would need to make a Constitution saving throw. That is an incredible roll, Relic. Sorry, so Oscar and Relic, Oscar and Zed, your Constitution saving throw?
Mine was 13.
13? Okay.
Yeah, natural.
Mine was 14.
Okay, so all three of you take... ...12 bludgeoning damage.
Oh, right.
He then swings out at Zed with his sword. I would assume that hits.
I'll try and cast how's it called? Cunning Words. Will it cancel the attack?
Cunning Words?
Yeah, I have to roll a d12, subtract the roll.
You subtract 12 from even there, it will hit.
Oh.
Regardless of what you roll, that will hit. Unfortunately, I rolled a 19. You take 23 damage.
Alright. As my reaction, I want to cast Hellish Rebuke.
Sorry, who is that? Zed, yeah?
Yes.
Yes, okay, you were not slowed, that is correct. Yep, that's absolutely fine. And the damage type of Hellish Rebuke is...
I'll cast it on 4th level.
The damage type is...
Fire damage. Will do 5d10 damage.
Fire damage.
Yes.
Okay. And you're casting this on Kelvar.
Correct.
Okay.
It's gonna heal him. Maybe.
Are you sure you wish to proceed? You saw the fireball in the past reform his armor and make him look rather healthy.
But the other time fire was casted on him, it shattered him, damaged him.
That was radiant damage.
That was radiant.
Oh, that was radiant.
Yeah.
So okay.
I would, yes, I would retract said Hellish Rebuke if I was you.
Yeah, I'll retract that. All right.
That's just because you're going to make the fight very difficult. Because I believe Hellish Rebuke happens each turn, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes. So you don't want to do that. let's leave it. You don't want to do that. I will not let you make that mistake. And I believe that will conclude your turn. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. That brings us to...
I do want to say something.
Oh wait, that was in my turn?
That concludes Kelvar's turn is what I meant. Yes.
Oh, my bad.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
Which roll does require concentration?
Sorry, which of you is holding concentration right now?
Relic.
Oh, you're holding concentration.
Yeah.
What were you concentrating
I'm
on?
haste.
Oh, it was you that casted haste. So you took... Yes, okay, right, yes, because you took the stomp damage. Yep, that's a Constitution saving throw. What did you roll?
I casted haste.
Oh. Yeah. You weren't hit by anything in that fight at all. Tylen was... Tylen? Who the hell is Tylen? Torgun was out of range of the stomp.
Okay.
That's what I thought. I was really confused when none of you are holding concentration apart from Torgun, is that correct?
Correct.
However, Torgun, can I just ask a quick question? You held your tail. Is that not also a concentration, or is that just like a bonus action that happens later? It's just until you roll again. Yep, I see.
Yeah, that's just something I have, and I can choose to tell the tail whenever I want to.
Yep, got it. Okay, so you're just maintaining the concentration on haste, and you haven't yet been hit because you hid in a dark corner.
Yeah.
Which brings us to Oscar. Oscar, if you would make a wisdom saving throw, please. Congratulations.
I got it.
You are restored to having many actions per turn.
Yeah, and I'm still hasted.
Yep, you are.
But that was gonna be my question: is which one takes precedence, slow or hasted? But
the
okay,
slow, I believe, because it was cast later. Purely on that
after,
basis.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I am now
Fully under the effects of haste without any slow.
of hate. Okay. I am going to go. Yeah, I'm just gonna go and attack Calvar, because I don't think I'd be able to jump into over the force
Would you like
cage,
to try?
right?
Well, the only
Yeah,
problem is bear in mind, enemy 2 and 3 are currently hovering 20 foot in the air. So unless you can also attack 20 foot in the air, you will only be able to fight the clay golems, who appear to be roguish types.
Who appear to be, they're the ones shaking the cage.
Yes, but they were also the ones who were stealthing early on, looking out amongst the bushes, if you remember. So you would effectively, they were the 2 roguish types. So yeah, you wouldn't be able to attack the 2 floating in the air. I think it's fair to say.
Okay. Then yeah, I guess I'll attack Calvar then.
Yeah.
Kind of wanted to attack the one in the air, one of them, but I don't know how I would get up there.
Okay. So if you'd like to roll, are you using your flurry of blows again? Correct. How many key points do you have? Quite a few.
I started with 16.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I think
So
I'm down
just
to
roll
14.
freely. Yeah. So is that again 6 attacks with 5 hit rolls? Is that correct?
If I don't use flurry of blows, it's 5 attacks.
Yeah. So that is up to you.
Hang on. I'm trying to find where would it be? Actions. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna burn a key point to use Step in the Wind.
Yep.
So as a bonus action, I can disengage or dash, and my jump distance is doubled for the turn.
Okay.
So I will burn the key point to basically try and get up to the one that's floating. Let me
make an acrobatics check for me, please.
Yeah, that would be.
That is
a
25-foot leap, both forwards and upwards.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Acrobatics. Here we go. That is
20.
Where's the?
That's a 20.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. It's fair to say that you can reach this enemy. If you would now roll to hit at disadvantage, please, as you are currently flying past him.
Okay, I'm gonna I am going to use Drunkard's Luck to burn 2 key points and cancel the disadvantage.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Yep.
All right. Limited use. Here we go. Okay, so I used 3 key points. Okay, and then now I use 5 attacks on the one that's flying. So.
Yep. Okay. Roll to hit 5 times, please.
1.
Sorry, you went for the one on the left. In other words, the one that healed him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 27, 12. 19, 23.
That's only 4 rolls.
And then the bonus action. Oh no.
Wait. Was your jumping
25.
thing the bonus action as well?
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Okay, so just
You're
the 4
right.
rolls. Okay, so that hits 3
Yeah,
times. You'd like to do me 3 damage rolls, please?
Yep. 1. So that's 8. 6. 11. Sorry. So 8, 6, 11.
Yep, at this point, the concentration he was maintaining to levitate fails and he falls to the ground. He appears very wounded, and you land just behind him.
Okay. Dope.
Yep.
That is my action. Sorry.
Yep. That leads us to. Can I just check, Relic? Did you take a turn this turn?
Yeah, I should have already done things.
Yes. What did you?
When I casted Witch Bolt.
Yes. Okay. Cool. So then our Stone Golem is going to reach out with its fisty, rocky hand, and it is going to punch out at. Who can it reach? Who's number 3? Zed. That looks like you. Dealing. Oh, well, that's definitely hitting. Dealing 21 damage.
Ooh, great! More damage. Have at me.
You just happen to be in range, my friend. At this point, the first of our clay golems on the left advances onto. Sorry. On the left advances onto Oscar, swinging. Oh, no, wrong person. Sorry. Swinging once and missing, and then swinging a second time and missing. The other clay golem advances from the other side of the room, trying to sneak up on you. He swipes with his hand, dealing you 33 damage. At this, and then the sorcerer that is still floating, the armor that is still floating up above the wall, is going to cast a bolt of lightning down at Torgon.
I will be using my reaction to counterspell that.
I thought you might. I was just waiting for you to say that. I was like, he don't want none of that shit. And he then remains motionless in the air.
Wait. So what transpired?
He fired a lightning bolt at Torgon, and Torgon noped it with a counterspell.
Okay, and then what happened to me?
Oh, sorry, you took 33 damage.
33.
You were sneak attacked in the
that
back.
counterspell was at a 3rd level, by the way.
Mm-hmm. So was the lightning bolt. Oh, good. Yep, and that brings us to Zed.
All right. Since I have some healing, surprisingly, I will cast Mass Cure Wounds to our teammates on the 8th level.
Wait, sideways. How did you get that? Where did you get that? Is that a
I
bard
have
spell?
that.
That's awesome.
It's a really good spell.
Oh, I didn't know it was a bard thing.
I managed to roll really good. Everyone in our team heals for 40.
What are did you roll for this one, or is it just?
I already rolled.
I do need to know the number because my closet's in the area. I heal from max.
Yeah, he heals for 40.
No,
HP.
as in it's 3d8 plus his spellcasting modifier, so the maximum
Mass Cure
roll.
Wounds heals on 8th level for 68 plus charisma modifier.
Yeah,
I've used an 8th level slot.
in all fairness, Rella, I don't think it even needs to hit full for you to be full health. So you're full health. Assuming that you have under 183 hit points.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yes. So you're full health from that, yeah.
That's amazing.
We all get back 40.
Yes. Apart from Rella, who was healed to up to 68 health.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you.
Let's see. Do I have a little nice bonus action? I could also cast Healing Word, but let's see. What spell slot is less viable? I could cast Healing Word to myself.
Okay.
5d4 plus 5, heal for 19.
That is a lot of healing in one turn, sir.
Yup.
Nice. Consider your battle reset.
You could say I'm a tank. That'd be the end of my turn.
That brings us to Torgon.
Me?
Yep.
Okay. So
Oh, hold on.
Wait.
No, that doesn't sound like the right voice. Torgon?
Torgan.
It's me.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Hold on, I've got these voices in my
I
head by
thought
now.
you said Trogan. I was
There's
like,
an imposter among us.
yeah.
Okay. Well,
Torgan.
thankfully Zed did that because I was going to do that myself. Well, I guess I don't have to really move. Okay. So since it hurt before, I'm going to keep. This is probably going to be terrible for my health later on, but I'm going to cast Guiding Bolt again at Calva at a 5th level. $24 to hit.
That hits.
Another 28 damage.
As with before, this appears incredibly effective. It shudders into his armor plates, and as the spell hits, it erupts from within. The crystal that we previously saw, this shining gem, shards of it fly in every direction. Can you make a dex saving throw, please, all of you?
Dex save 15.
25.
16.
Who rolled the 15?
I did. Zed.
Zed and Relic, you take 10 radiant damage.
Oh, did I just healed that?
And Kelvar crumbles into tiny little pieces. Bits of light are flying off in every direction. Pieces of metal are falling down onto the ground. As this happens, the two animated armors, one of which was floating and one which was not, sort of full. It appears that the will that was binding these monsters together has been completely dissipated. Clearly, Kelvar was somehow in control of these golems. And whilst they still continue to, march towards you and to attack, they appear to have lost all semblance of intelligence. Mindless beasts. They advance upon you. Kelvar shattered to the ground. All you see now is smolderings of light. Whilst this is going on, you hear from behind you large explosions and sort of frazzling of various equipment. The gnome robots that you remember before are collapsing into pieces, and as such, the machines they were running are running out of control. You hear banging and popping as small fires begin to happen all around behind you. And that brings us to Relic. Would you make a wisdom saving throw for me, please?
Yep. You're kidding.
Congratulations, you are still slowed. Take your turn.
Can I just talk about the fact I rolled 3 nat 1s this session?
Never mind though. You're saving your rolls for when they truly matter.
Okay, so Calvar's down now.
So what you have in front of you, sorry, I have not killed off Kelvar, he did. What you have next to you is one stone golem looking mindless. It is sort of moving around. It's still, quite solid in form, but clearly not fighting with the intensity that it had before. And then a 4 small and then 4 enemies.
Shit, okay, I didn't think this would happen.
I didn't think that would happen.
Okay, so...
I do sort of understand that there is like some sort of like hive mind thing, but if you sort of like kill the leader, the rest of them are still sort of like up and about.
Think less so hive mind than one mind.
Yeah.
It becomes a troglodyte once the mind is broken.
So yeah, Relative, you would like to take your turn.
I'm gonna cast Eldritch Blast and point 2 of them at the floating golem.
The floating golem is no longer floating and is flat on the floor. Having no longer got the ability to levitate itself. Can you cast that through a force wall?
Say that again.
You can cast that through a force wall, or would you have to cast that on the one enemy that's your side of it?
I believe I'd be able to go around it if there's room for it.
It's a cage, but yeah.
It's a cage.
Yeah, it was the force cage that was cast before.
Oh, I should be able to cast through it then.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Let me double check it. Yeah, it doesn't say I can't.
Yeah, it doesn't
cast
say anything about casting through it. Okay, cool. Roll
Okay.
for hit, please.
Do. 13 on the first hit
That hits.
and 19 on the second hit.
They both hit.
And third bolt, I want to reach the golem that's next to us.
Okay. Roll to hit.
That's 17 there.
That hits. So roll for damage.
First one deals 3 damage, the second one deals 4 damage, and the third one deals 2.
Okay.
Still slowed, sadly.
Yep. Okay. And that brings us to the one that was punched in the sky, the armor that was floating there next to Oscar, who is going to swing to hit, dealing 3 damage to Oscar.
Okay, so because my AC is 21.
Yep, it hit you.
Okay.
Sorry, I've got your armors up on screen.
Okay,
yeah.
awesome.
It hit you, but it did 3 damage.
3 damage.
Yes. And that concludes its turn.
I think with haste he has extra +2, so he should be 23 actually.
Yeah, we're going.
No, it's 21 with
the haste. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's right. It was a 24 hit. It hit you. It takes you 3 damage. And that brings us to Oscar's turn.
Okay. The one that just hit me. Actually, I'm surrounded, so I'm gonna use. I thought about splitting up my attacks.
You can attack once at a time if you like. So just one attack and see where you're at. Yeah.
Yeah. So in this case, I would get 4 attacks and 1 bonus action. So I'm just gonna do like 1, 2, 3, and then.
Well, if you'd like to, you're attacking the one that just hit you, yes?
Yeah.
That was originally. If you'd like to make 1 roll to hit first.
Oof. That is a 12.
That hits. It's. Can you actually roll that low? Roll for damage, please.
9 bludgeoning.
Yep. As your first blow lands on this animated armor, the armor shatters into pieces and it falls to the ground. It is clearly dead. That is why I was encouraging to not take more than 1 attack on it. It down. Okay, and then you now have 2 clay golems next to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna attack them too.
Okay.
So I have 3 attacks left.
Yep.
And a bonus action.
Okay.
So 1. That's a 17.
That hits.
A 16.
That hits.
And a 17.
They all hit.
And then one bonus action unarmed strike. And a 15.
That also hits.
Okay, so that was 4
rolls?
attacks.
Yep.
So 2 each. So 13 and 9 for 1.
Yep.
And then 6 and 12 for the other.
Yep. So the both of them now appear fairly wounded and are effectively down to their knees.
Yeah, so I'm just like elbowing, kneecap, headbutting.
You're swinging with all limbs. Yeah, you've got a kick going in, you've got a punch, you've got a bit of a headbutt, elbow here. You know, all limbs are flying. At this point, the Stone Golem is retreating backwards 2 or 3 steps as it sort of stares around it obliviously at the explosions going on. All of a sudden, you hear a rupturing noise, and the ground of the path that was leading up to Kelvar begins to split between it. A huge rift comes into the middle of the ground. The machines that were previously exploding start thunderously vibrating, and there's tension in the air as the sort of miniature explosions and fires begin to build into a huge tumult of explosiveness and violence. At this point, there are no more little robots running around. There is just fire and burning and destruction happening behind you. This is now within 7 or 8 feet of your back, Torgan. It's fair to say that this, if you were to turn slightly, you would realize that you will soon be engulfed within this cataclysmic set of explosions that are building and building as all the magic and technology begins to vibrate faster and faster and explode.
Okay. Can I possibly run up to Calva's body and grab that crystal that was in his chest?
The crystal that shattered into a million tiny pieces, and you had to dodge the damage.
Shattered.
Yeah. That is what. Those were the shards that came forth that you had to dexterously avoid.
Damn it! Here I thought it would be really good for me. Okay. Everything started to explode. I'm going to just yell across everybody. I think it's time for us to leave. We should probably go.
Question: who cast the Force Gauge? Was that Relic?
Yeah,
No.
that was me,
Zed.
Zed.
It was Zed. Zed, are you capable of dispelling said Force Gauge?
Let me check if it's dispellable, because it has
I know it's not dispellable by anyone else, but can you choose to end it being your own magic?
Let's see.
I feel like you
The
could.
spell can't be.
No, I know it cannot physically be
It
dispelled.
doesn't say if it can be dispelled.
I think, like all forms of magic in the 5th edition world, it is fair to say that you can remove your own magic at will. So, should you wish to lower said cage to help your good friend Oscar out, we will allow that.
Yes. Is it my turn now?
It is. I can either allow you each to take a turn, or assuming your choice is unanimously to start getting a hoof on, then
Yeah.
I would say it is fair you could all act simultaneously.
Okay.
Yeah, I have an idea.
Yep. We'll come to Relic then.
Teleportation scroll.
Relic has a teleportation scroll, allowing up to 6 creatures of his choice within range to be teleported to a place they have been before. It is fair to say, Oscar, you will need to get your moving shoes on if you wish to be there. What is your movement speed, Oscar?
55.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, no, it's fair to say you can probably saunter casually. Okay, someone's a mover, someone's a shifter and a mover. So is anybody choosing to stay behind in the large pile of destruction as opposed to teleporting out?
Hell no.
No, I didn't think so. I just thought I'd check and give you the option. It is fair to say at this point that you would join hands briefly just as the spell takes place, and you find yourself sat gently at a table in the tavern. From even sitting in the tavern, you can hear the explosion outside. A young man comes into the tavern and says, "The world is erupting!" And begins to describe this sort of volcanic effect of explosion. It is fair to say that the landscape will be changed forevermore. However, the mind that was Kelvar that was holding it all together appears to have been disrupted by the brave adventurers, 4 that have gone to the call of our young gnome. Unfortunately, loot was not within your grasp, but I think at least one of you managed to grab the plate of food you were eating beforehand and grab it through the teleportation scroll. You find yourself sat at a tavern. One of you is sat on a large and fat man's lap, as you forgot that somebody else might be sitting at the table when you returned. But everybody else is fairly undisrupted. And you find yourselves in the tavern.
When did they get velvet seats? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get off there.
Beautiful. The man sort of grumps and grundles, and he's being told by a man who's just entered the tavern that the world is exploding, and then a strange adventurer arrived, sat on his lap. He, at this point, begins to think he may have had too much to drink and retreats to the restroom. leaving you all to sit and be reflect on your performances and on your wondrous adventure. Now, we have a feature on this show in general, in every D&D session I do, called the MVP. Now, the MVP is not necessarily a person, but is usually an inanimate object or strange bystander or NPC. If I can come to Oscar first, who did you see, or what rather, did you see as the MVP of your session today? Which random item contributed in your mind?
Definitely the mass heal and the counter spell.
Mass heal and the counter spell, yep. The counter spell definitely kept the haste going.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say probably the between those two for sure,
Okay.
hands down. Clutch move.
Zed, we come to you. Your MVP
Right.
for today?
Despite the fact that I was flawless, I had nothing. I have to say, what really would be the MVP would be Calva himself.
Calvin
It was a
himself.
really fun. Yes, since he's an object, I can call MVP. Fun individual, if I could say, and a nice one.
Thank you. Oh, I appreciate that. And then we come to Torgan, your MVP for today.
I really do like Calva, but that fucking halfling.
The halfling with the teleportation scroll. I believe that was... Let's go back and find out who our halfling was. It was Benji90 who produced said halfling to
Nice.
slide a teleportation scroll into the pocket of Relic. Relic, your MVP?
I really like Calvo, to be honest.
Oh, good, I'm glad.
But I want to say the MVP was whoever threw that vase with the hay there.
Oh yes, the revealed lands and hay there. I believe that was our high-tech jet. No, it wasn't. It was Jack Dale. It was Jack Dale who threw the revealing lantern that yells "Hey there" at you.
That was
I definitely enjoyed the use of the "Hey there" lantern. That was my personal favorite moment. Such creative way to interact that, but I think without a shadow of a doubt, Benji90 and his teleportation scroll allowing you to escape the cataclysm without working out how to scale a 100-foot wall was probably by far the... I hadn't even considered it. It hadn't crossed my mind. So also credit to Relic for thinking of it and bringing it back to the to us so that we were able to use it. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut us short fairly quickly as we have overrun by 50 minutes, although we did start a little bit late. Thank you so much for playing, first of all. It has been my absolute pleasure to have the four of you here. If you would like to say a quick sort of au revoir to Twitch chat, I'd really appreciate it. If you'd like to just give them a goodbye, preferably don't wave, they won't see that.
Oh yeah.
Bye, Twitch.
Wait, Twitch never follow a weird mind message. Bring you.
Oh, you cut out there, Zed.
Twitch chat, please never follow weird mind message.
Yep, and with that, I will say goodbye to you guys, and thanks again for playing, and I look forward to seeing... By the way, though the characters Relic and Torgan were played by two players who you will see in future long-term campaigns, and may all of them appear in future long-term campaigns in time. Thank you so much for playing, guys, and I shall see you guys shortly.